get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 2 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021. The Bangladeshi region, of course, sponsored to you by Oppo Reno 5. As we are having an amazing outing from all these teams. Of course, we'll be carrying forward our conversation. Joining along with me is, of course, Necro. So, well, Necro, Blood Legion.
I mean, the first thing that comes up in my mind is just absolute decimation whenever I just hear that name. Because, of course, yeah, in the first 3 games, Blood Legion wasn't really able to show up.
Yeah.
They were getting contested really easy on because I feel like they were trying to play passive and strategic. But in the end game, they were like, you know what, it's not really working, so we're just going to go in a straight line. We're just going to drill through our way, and whoever comes in our way, we're just going to destroy them. And this is literally what they did, and they ended up with 23 kills.
I mean, 23 kills, that was massive. I mean, so far, we've seen so many, we've casted so many matches in the PMCO this time around, but nobody till now has been crossing that 20 mark. And finally, we get that 23 kill bomb coming out from them and getting that chicken dinner. I mean, I was surprised and even happy. And somehow channeling the ancestral powers, the blood lineage that they've got in, getting those momentum rolling with all those skills, of course. But along with that, a few teams could not really show up. And the biggest disappointments over here, IPGX, KSX, even the boys from ERZxTRZ.
Even God's Reborn, they weren't really able to show up. Yeah, like, of course, I was expecting so much from God's Reborn as well, but yeah, the disappointment did roll in through. And even ERZxTRZ, one of the big names, weren't really able to show up. Of course, like in the previous group stages, we saw ERZxTRZ dominate as well on the way, but this time ERZxTRZ was just not able to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be the pressure surmounting because, what's on the line? It's those 3 slots from this region for the PMPL, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about, because 3 teams from the regional finals, in fact, the top 3 teams from the regional finals will be getting that ticket to go and compete in the bigger tournament, which is, of course, PMPL, which is due in a few days around. So, yeah, and we've got a few invited teams as well along with us, and Zeus joining in from the GC. They've been playing so phenomenal. So, this is also one of the teams that we will be, of course, watching out for, but that's in a later tournament to come. But coming back to today's matches, I mean, Exentric Infinity and XCvS. I mean, these 2 teams have been also performing really well. XCvS kind of showing how consistent they are in terms of their kills and in terms of positioning. But there's another team called Log1 who's got a lot of position points but not that much in the kill department.
I mean, at the same time, yeah, it doesn't really matter if you're not getting kill points because Log1 is still just farming out those points easily. They're like the consistency in those positioning points is just absolutely relentless.
Yeah, of course, the consistency is of course there, but now let's take a look at what's on the line, the money that we are talking about. It's $29,200, pretty much the standard one we've seen across through the group stages. Of course, now teams that could not really make it, 16 to 32nd, well, they have already, been receiving their cut. But now it's for more than the prize pool. I believe it's about the bragging rights. It's about the chance to compete in the PMPL.
Of course, it's going to be all about the bragging rights as well. But, of course, as we all know, those top 3 positions are what these guys aiming for. And for now, I really feel like if Blood Legion keep on showing the same performance they are, I mean, of course, yeah, they are going to be the top 1 team. But now, ERZxTRZ is also these, sleeping lion over here. If they wake up also today, if they manage to wake up and just absolutely dominate the lobby, ERZxTRZ might get up top there because we saw in group stages how dominant this team is. But Log1 also one of the it's a really passive players from Log1. They don't really like to challenge any kind of fights, but at the same time they do manage to contest those points all off survival.
Yeah, I mean, we'll of course get along with this discussion, but let's take a look at the points distribution system that we have for you guys. And we've seen this since the last PMCO, so pretty much standard. But carrying forward, the conversation that we were having. So ERZxTRZ, I think you're predicting that they might just pop off today. I think this is their day where they need to step up because it's still not yet too late. We've seen in this point system meta that we have, it's kind of a comeback meta that I have described because we've seen so many teams making those comebacks even in those last 5 days. So anything is possible over here.
True.
All you need to do is try and be more consistent. But if you're talking about the teams, let's take a look at the rosters. In fact, let's take a look at who are the teams participating. So we've got INERTIA Esports invited team. I think they've been playing phenomenally well in terms of kills and positioning, but not in the upper echelon, to be honest. But I think with the way they've started building the momentum for themselves, I think we can expect a better performance out from them.
Of course, yeah, I definitely have a lot much more expectation from the INERTIA as well. But now, overall, even Infernal, Parasite, we have been seeing these guys playing decent in those group stages as well. I'm not really going to say absolutely good, but they were decent. Like they at least managed to secure themselves that top 15 spots, and which is going to be a really big achievement in itself. But now this time, not just securing a top 15 spot is not going to be getting you anywhere. You'll have to come up with some unique ways to actually tackle down those top 3 teams if you want to go in PMPL.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the same goes with A1 Esports 952. I mean, they haven't been able to pop off as big, but they're still in the top 8, which is pretty much understandable. The difference margin so far is not that huge, right? And if you're talking about the differences, let's take a look at the overall ranking and see the overall storyboard that's in front of us. So there you go, Blood Legion with those massive 42 kills, and of course a chicken dinner in the name. So they're sitting at 65, followed by XCvS.
But now just take a look at the massive, option over here. Just take a look at all these teams from 5th to 8th position. They are just down from low points, okay? Now, all they need to do is, even if they manage to get like 8 kills in one game, of course, like team that is going to get eliminated off, they will be completely down onto either like 12th position or either like 13. Yeah, but like then, for example, INERTIA managed to secure 8 kills for themselves. They would literally be up to 4th position.
I mean, right now we've not been talking a lot about SLX Ironic. I believe we need to put some light onto it, how they've been playing. So they've been consistent in the 7th position, but the best part is they're finally starting to rack up kills, which they were sort of missing out during the group stages. So that's a really good thing. And A1 Esports, of course, like we mentioned, they're doing pretty decent over there. Log 1. So a lot of people might just raise questions that okay, so this is not a kill for a heavy team, so they just kind of got lucky with the zone. But no, that's not the case. Because Log 1 is a team in certain circles like this, you making it in fact into the final zone is such a huge thing. And look at their position points. They've got the highest position points. You just consider the left-hand side blocks. There you see even more than the likes of Blood Legion.
Indeed. The one thing that we can, of course, go ahead and say about Log 1 is that they definitely do have one of the best IGLs they have to offer. Because making the route inside the circle and still being safe, as much as safe as possible, and securing those top 3 positions is certainly not easy. Because if it was easy, of course, all these teams would be having so many placement points. But that's not the case over here. We are seeing so many teams, big teams like ERZxTRZ. Take a look at their placement points. Only 6 placement points. Now, of course, ERZxTRZ is struggling. As I said, they are still the sleeping lion over here. If they manage to wake up and if they manage to just absolutely dominate the lobby, of course, we have been seeing ERZxTRZ also going for those placement points and even securing those kill points for themselves as well. So now, ERZxTRZ over here, what I'm trying to say is ERZxTRZ is a passive-aggressive team.
All right.
And if they actually manage to go on with the same meta that they were doing in the group stages, I feel like they can get somewhere from here.
I certainly beg to differ over here, but I'll get to that a bit later. But right now, let's take a look at the schedule that we have in store for us. It's Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, Erangel. We are again going to start off in Erangel as well. Yeah, but talking about ERZxTRZ, I mean, I somehow feel that this team is pretty aggressive in terms of how they are getting those kills in the early game. But somehow, I think the only problem with them has been their rotations. The position points is where they certainly are lacking. But I think they have figured that out for themselves. I think they are going to come back stronger, and only the first game is going to answer that as to how are they going to perform. So let's just head into the map, and it's
literally one of the same that we saw yesterday.
Just in a different direction.
Just in a different direction. Like in the previous time, it was from right to left, and now this is from left to right. But
so where is the circle going?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if it's on that side, you know what? I feel like the circle might be over the shelter side.
Okay.
And
we did see some Gatka circle yesterday, of course, in the Nepal region.
It was literally just the same that we saw.
Yeah.
It was just on the other side.
Exactly. And Gatka makes it so very interesting. You've got those sewers, you've got those compounds to work out with. And we did see the players yesterday, of Team Carnage, taking over those rooftop compounds. And then they were just shedding down all those bullets into the hearts of their enemies. But today, all these teams are taking their drops respectively, and we haven't really seen anyone contest for the southern side. So it's just IPGX, I believe. They're heading down towards Nova.
Indeed. Now, one thing I really wanted to focus over here about ERZxTRZ, as I said, they're passive-aggressive team. One thing I call them passive-aggressive was the reason because, okay, imagine there's a team inside a compound. ERZxTRZ would actually go and contest the compound and completely surround the compound, but they won't push in directly. Now, if you take a look at how Blood Legion plays, they will use their utilities and they will straight up just rush inside the compound. Now, that is what a pure aggression is. What ERZxTRZ is doing here, they are thinking about the situation, how they're going to be taking the enemy team down, and this is what we call passive-aggressive strategies. Now, this is why I actually called ERZxTRZ passive-aggressive, but now just take a look at the circle over here. This is actually a really beautiful circle favoring all these teams, right? The more the land is covered inside the circle, the better it is, because of course you're going to be having so much cover for yourself in the first circle, and just overall so many houses for you to hide inside. But now just take a look at the presence of all these teams on the complete bottom right side. There are just so many teams. For example, Max, they might have a harder time if they want to actually rotate inside the circle, but seems like Max is already contesting those vehicles for themselves and even going for Milta power for themselves. But now, overall, all these teams, just look at how much chaos it is on the bottom right side. And it seems like SLX Ironic is going to be heading towards Yasnaya.
Yeah. So now SLX Ironic, this is the team that we've seen getting those kills as well as the position points. So they're still in the race for the top 3 slots that we are looking out for the PMPL. But as we speak, we have the players of IPG4R who had a kind of a mediocre outing. I would not really say the best of the days, but another team that has really fallen short after the group stages has got to be ALxK9. I mean, this was one of the very consistent teams that we've known of, and now they're in the bottom last.
Yeah, ALxK9 was certainly a little bit of disappointment coming in from them, but now, I mean, of course, yeah, as I was talking about, all these teams are taking the rotation inside the circle first, and then they're looting, which is a pretty clever decision coming in from some of the teams. But, yeah, indeed, like, not each and every single team is going to be just doing the same thing, even if you land it outside the circle. Of course, if you decide to rotate inside the circle a little late, you might be having a really hard time. But seems like INS New T is already knocked down. And it's to a fall damage, which is certainly a little bit disappointing. But, I mean, yeah, the rest should not be hard for them to get in. But INES Ironic seems like, yep, they're going to be getting the res in as well. And it seems like they have contested the entire Georgiapol area for themselves. And, yeah, indeed, Georgiapol is a little bit of a decent spot inside the circle as well. But now, overall, as I was talking about, getting back to the conversation, so of course, yeah, all these teams who are going to be making those late rotation inside the circle are going to be struggling a lot much more.
The struggle is, of course, going to be real over there, but Team INES. So this is a team that really came in yesterday and has started popping off. But they've got this rivalry building up against Blood Legion.
Legions, yeah.
The first time they did encounter against each other, it was, of course, INES who had the better out of them. But it was Blood Legion who came in back really heavy in that final game of Erangel.
I mean, to be honest, in the first encounter, why they came out on top was because Blood Legion was actually getting third party from all the angles. Like, they had the high ground, and then at the same time, having the high ground also sometimes puts you in those disadvantaged spots because your body is completely exposing, and even if you're trying to like do any kind of damage to the enemy team, of course you will have to peek down and then shoot at INES, and at the same time in that process you're exposing your body completely on a hilltop. Of course you're gonna get contested from so many squads, and that's exactly what happened with Blood Legions there. Of course, yeah, they did get put in a little bit unfortunate spot and they should have smoked themselves out. But then when they did, it was actually too late and they were completely contested by INES.
Right now, talking about Blood Legion, they knew that, that kind of a scared approach, to play under pressure is certainly not going to work out for them. So they went all heavy and ham. And well, of course, I mean, they must be looking forward to carry on with the momentum that they've built up for themselves after that amazing chicken that they did get yesterday. But coming back to another team, in fact, this player has certainly been one of the most consistent ones so far with the way he's been playing. I mean, he's impressed us on multiple levels, always trying to survive for his team. But in the regional finals, however, I kind of felt that, it was Jerry slacking off a bit, because from what we have seen from his side during those group stages, he's capable of a lot more. And XCVS, this is a team that, tends to survive right till the end. And we've seen on multiple occasions where Jerry was sort of picked up early on. So that kind of might be a bummer for this team. But I'm pretty sure they're going to figure themselves out and come back strong. Of course, they are still in the top 3. So that's a good thing to start with.
I mean, there's a saying, like, not every day is going to be yours. And certainly that might be the case with Jerry, Sometimes, yeah, you do have those unlucky days coming in. But, yeah, one thing I can definitely tell why was Jerry getting picked off early was, that man is a little aggressive. So, yeah, sometimes if he is getting separated out from his team being aggressive, yeah, you might just get caught off guard if you're unlucky enough. And, yeah, sometimes things just don't go your way. And now take a look at Max over here. One of the teams that hasn't been really consistent, but at the same time, they are showing their name up on there. And, of course, yeah, there are a little bit of hopes going in for Max as well. But same goes with Wolves. Wolves Black Diamond is one of the teams that I actually personally love. One thing, because of their name, and the second thing, because of Jigsaw.
Jigsaw, okay. So this is a team, if you're talking about Wolves. So, well, they did make it to the to the finals in the last game of their group stages, right? Afterwards, they've been kind of shaky, to be honest. Jigsaw has been doing pretty well, but it has just been that one man, trying to get those kills. So this is also one other of the teams that we can really bring that comparison with against Log 1. So Team Log 1 has a similar kind of a gameplay. Team Wolves, they do not tend to take those fights unless and until it's necessary, and that setup has been their forte, right? And the same we can really conclude for Log 1. So now this is a kind of a meta that we've seen in the Nepali region, not in the Bangladesh region, because Bangladesh region believes in pure raw aggression right on their faces. We can of course compare the Pakistan region with the Bangladesh region because they kind of tend to play a bit aggressive, whereas Nepal region goes a bit tactical, something like the Chinese teams love to do. So considering how Log 1 have been playing, they're still in a pretty good spot and they have to keep on. Now the thing with going with those position points, the only problem that arises are in those final days. Say you've got a few bad matches, right? You've got not every game you can be consistent. I mean, you've got to be some god tier zone rotator if you have to maintain that kind of a stat. So we're not expecting that to happen. So you need to have those skills backing you as well, because once you start getting into the rhythm, getting into the flow, then you're confident in taking those fights. And once you get that done, that is already 70% of your job done. When you are actually feeling yourself in your fights, you know how to take this on. So Log 1 has to be kind of a bit focused towards taking a few fights here and there. So let's see how they perform.
I mean, yeah, talking about consistency and overall just pure aggression, one team I remember from Nepal region is going to be Carnage. Now, we definitely saw they took 2 chicken dinners yesterday, and which is just a massive achievement. On the first day, getting that momentum going onto your side, getting the water flowing on your side, it's just overall such a great, relief of stress. And especially if you're going to be contesting those 2 massive chicken dinners, you're going to be just taking a massive leap on the leaderboard, and that's exactly what Carnage did. But coming back to the Bangladeshi region, and seems like INES does actually want to contest the Georgia Pool area this time, and IPG4 ARC are already waiting for them. But INES seems like they are going to be contesting that one compound, but at the same time still seems like they are searching for a better compound for themselves. So INES are kind of lost at the moment, but now take a look at the airdrop. It's going to be the AWM, and as I like to say, it's not just a gun, it's a priority.
Yeah, I mean, quite a phrase that we've been hearing for so long. And AWM coming in, And if you take a look at this weapon, so we've not seen it being really popular this time around the PMCOs. Teams still preferring those MK14s, those Grozas, and of course the M249 as well. And DBS, that was one of those weapons I used to absolutely love and adore, and we've seen that in the PMCO matches, And in fact, in the last group stage day, it was kind of visible from the players of A1 Esports 952. So they kind of tend to always try to get in something new, put something on the table that we did not see so far. But now, considering the zone has taken that shift up towards northwestern side, we've got a lot of hilly areas, those slopes around which you can play. But at the same time, there are a few compounds, just a handful compounds that you need to get your hands on, that you need to secure for yourself. Because this is still the second circle, right? After this, we get to see the third circle. By the fourth circle, we get to see that curveball, maybe the fourth or the fifth. So that is when we will have a rather, clearer picture as to where the circle is heading outwards. And then maybe all these teams might just understand, oh, all right, so this is a good spot, we need to take that. And this is where teams like BTR really tend to flourish. They pick up a spot, no matter whoever is guarding it, they go in with the rushes.
They certainly do go in with the rushes, but now it seems like ERZxTRZ are going to be contesting the entire Georgia pool area for themselves. Of course, we know how lethal this area can be with a certain amount of edges that the containers has, and even certain amount of gaps between each and every single container has. So of course, you're going to be having so many different angles that you're going to be peeking from, and the enemy team will definitely get confused if you're going to be peeking from the left, if you're going to be peeking from the right, or if you're going to be peeking from the like the center, because there's just so many gaps in between each and every single container, and that is what you can use for your advantage. But now, taking a look at IPGX, it seems like Infernal Parasite is going to be making those late rotation inside the circle. I don't really know if I support that, but for now, if we take a look, the path seems a little bit clear, as long as they are not going to be colliding or collision with XCVS, and seems like they will have to certainly go in the straight route, because if IPGX does manage to go on a straight route, they are going to get contested by Max and even XCVS at the same time, and we all know how strong these teams are.
I mean, shooting range, this changes everything. Now, this is an area which is heavily contested in the highest of the competitive matches that we've seen in the world of PUBG Mobile. So this is pretty iconic. You've got those dips right beside those fences of the shooting range, where a lot of teams tend to come in there. You've got a few ridges to work around as well. You've got that military bunker in your disposal, not just one but two. And considering how Exentric Infinity have secured or solidified this sport inside the shooting range, I think they might have a rather good time in this one.
Mera's almost got caught in trouble there, but still going to be securing himself out. But seems like ALxK9 is having an eye on KSX there, but how are they going to be contesting on ALxK9? It's going to be interesting to see, because KSX are certainly in a really open ground, and if they do get contested or flanked from any angles, they'll be having a really hard time dealing with that. But now taking a look at Wolf over here, seems like they do have one of the decent compounds going in for them. And now just take a look at how many suppression shots are coming in through. Of course, those late rotations are going to be costing you so much, because you're just going to get rained down by bullets from each and every single team.
Yeah, you certainly are going to be. Now, A1 Esports 952 is in a bit of a pickle, as Magneto has been spotted out. Now, the boys from Exentric, they've taken those, hilly slopes for themselves and kind of in the open. So, C-Wine, again, having that flank angle for himself, trying to fend off pushes from elsewhere. that name
certainly
was
not
just,
going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, that was miles apart and, not even targeted to be going over there. So, this is pretty much a doable nade. You just need to long toss it. You just need to throw it up in the air. You do not need to cook it for long, and you can get the job done. But at the same time, I'm really scared about Magneto, because he's exposed right from his back. So any single moment, he can get caught off guard, because he's not having any attention over on towards his tail.
Indeed, Magneto certainly separated from his pack, would really want to go and rejoin them in the process, but it doesn't really seem like A1 is going to be providing that cover. But as I'm talking about, the same thing is going to be happening. One guy from Exentric is going to go down. Now, Exentric are in a bit of a pickle as well. They are in a bit of a trouble at the same time. They will have to watch their left, they watch their 6, and at the same time, they will have to watch their front, which is Magneto. Of course, he's going to be contesting them down if they even try to stick the res in. Magneto still trying to watch around himself, making sure no one's next to him, but at the same time, just take a look at the position from A1 there. They are in the backlines, and they are trying to contest Exentric from the backlines as well, but doesn't really seem like it's going to be an easy job coming in from them, because Exentric certainly has that res going up for them, which is going to be providing them a little bit of cover. And as I'm talking about, the res has came in through, and even they are looking completely healthy. But let's take a look at what is happening. C-Wine on a complete flank angle, taking down each and every single member of A1, and one member barely surviving, which is going to be Magneto, and he is still almost going to get contested by the rest of the Exentric squad. Take a look at this.
I mean, now SLX ironic, they just come in close. They need that res onto it, Sick Fly. But if Execute can just lob a grenade into their direction of A1, 9, and 52, they're basically dead meat. And a lot of teams are just traversing around. But then again, hey, long one, get inside the circle. This time, Rolex gets that knock onto its Blood Legion. This is a pretty big frag, because considering that was with a Bison.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, we don't really see that gun in the meta for a long time, but now this time definitely it's a little bit of relief for me to actually see Bison, because you know, just some unique names actually make you feel good. But as you take a look at the situation that is occurring in front of us, seems like Exentric are just unloading their max onto SLX Ironic, and SLX Ironic's under heavy pressure. As we take a look, they only have those little smoke grenades going up for them, but now there's another fight occurring at the same time. ERZxTRZ are getting contested by ALxK9, and seems like ALxK9 do certainly have the entire compound for themselves, and also at the same time they have ERZxTRZ Rare and even White Cat pinned down right inside the compound as well. Now, yeah, of course, the utility uses are going to go in through. Is there going to be any kind of knockdowns? It seems like Captain's just going to be chucking a nade out of nowhere, and it seems like, yeah, of course, Captain was like, oh, I am running out of time. I need to throw this nade somewhere, and then he just threw the nade a complete forward side. But now take a look at how much damage Captain has taken for exposing his body for even a short while.
Yeah, I mean, right now, elimination is what ERZxTRZ Esports are going to be facing. And they kind of got it wrong. The approach was really right, but at the same time, we've got the players of INES, you know, shedding down those bullets onto the players of IPGX. But, you know, getting back to the fight that we did see, it was a 2-2 split, you know. Mamba, along with his teammate, was up top, and we, of course, had the remainder of the players of ERZxTRZ down below. So this is a strat that might have worked out maybe in the Nepal region, but right now you need to understand these teams are going head on. They want to take fight right on your face. You need to have all 4 of your players alive, and what they should have done is had the other 2 players in this the compound just adjacent to it. So they did not do that, and they had to deal with the aftermath of it, as we finally see the circle, you know, starting to shrink in. The 4th circle might just close in any single moment, and INES is still fighting through the edges and have spotted down the players of IPGX.
One thing I'm really sad about this, again, is ERZxTRZ getting eliminated on 16th position with 0 points. That's such a massive disappointment. But now, let's take a look again inside the game. It seems like SLX GR are going to be struggling so much because they already have Gentleman knocked out, and they are trying their best to actually get the res in the process, but the Wolf doesn't really seem like they're going to be backing off anytime soon. Jigsaw showing that relentless aggression through the hill. He does want to gain any kind of information over there, but doesn't really seem like SLX GR Koa is going to be sticking the res anymore. Going to be taking the cover behind the tree, and certainly Rocky is going to be taken down by Koa. Beautiful plays coming in from Koa as well, but certainly not going to be standing on his 2 feet for a long time. And as we take a look, even A1 Esports getting down as well, and God's Reborn going down as well.
I mean, that was ought to be happening considering how they had positioned themselves, you know, right off the bat. A1 Esports engaging over there with Exentric. So we did see, you know, C1 dishing out so much damage, you know, knocking 2 of their players alive right there over there near shooting range. And then it all came down to Magneto, and he did a pretty decent job at surviving at least up until the 19-minute mark. But still, considering the way they went out, they're not going to get any position points. It's just those kills that are going to matter to them. But right now, Blood Legion. So they're still alive. We haven't seen them popping off. But right now, this circle, if they make it to those end circles, they start dominating. So this might just be the start where Blood Legion absolutely unleash themselves and go all ham on their opponents.
Indeed, Blood Legion, of course, what a team they can be. If you give them all the advantages in the circle, they're going to be taking each and every single person down. But now, Salu seems like he is going to be going down to the zone damage as well, as he got caught outside the zone. But now INERTIA seems like the rest of the teammates are going to be inside the circle, so they do have a little bit of advantage going in through. But also another big elimination coming in through is going to be XCvS. But just take a look at over here in the kill feed. There's 2 knockdowns coming in from C-Wine. Beautiful play coming in from this man. Absolute beautiful nades placement. The accuracy is just relentless. But now just take a look at Taban as well, tapping out on Wolves members. Jigsaw certainly in a massive point of trouble. Wolves, the entire Wolves squad, it actually crumbling down on their knees. They need to do something to actually stay inside, but just take a look at Shed taking down BD Asian from Wolves, and even Tanaban taking Wolt down. Wolves Rafi. Wolves is in a massive world of troubles right now, as 2 of their members are knocked down and only 1 guy is healthy, standing on his knees.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, AGT9, they've done such a good job in the regional finals so far, considering how they had played during the group stages. Now, they're getting knocks after knocks. You can see Insane going berserk, and INERTIA Esports, INES again biting the dust pretty early on. So many big names are falling, and this time we might get to see another different winner, but it can still be the boys from Blood Legion, as it's going to be absolute pandemonium in these final phases.
Of course, it's going to be an absolute pandemonium, but now just take a look at Max as well, barely surviving with that 1 man standing for them. And even Wolves going in the same, but yeah, they do have 1 more man knocked down. If they manage to actually get and secure that knockdown back up again, Wolves can actually be in a really decent spot. But if you just take a look at all these teams that have 4 men alive for themselves, they are just looking in an absolute really good spot. Blood Legion, of course, losing 1 of their members early off, which is, of course, a massive disappointment coming in from them as well, because losing a player like especially from a team like Blood Legion, if you're going to be losing a player, even 1 of them, it's going to be such a massive disappointment coming in through, because we just know each and every single player from Blood Legion is just way too good. But now just take a look at KSX as well. They have all their players alive in late circles, and this might be the game for them if they actually just keep on showing this kind of consistent performance. But of course, they're not going to be able to stay consistent because there's just so many teams going down. And if we take a look, Max Esports also getting eliminated in the process. But just take a look at IPGX Marshall taking so much heavy damage. Mufaz YT barely surviving on the less HP there. Mufaz is going to be capitalizing on the captain's position. Captain has been completely knocked down. And Sincere certainly going to be there to completely finish the kill off and secure that kill point.
Yeah, I mean, Mafuz, they did a pretty decent job over there. We'll get that res on to his teammate, and IPGX finally, signs of resurrection from this team, considering how they played yesterday. But Blood Legion, with a 3-man squad, they haven't been popping off up until now, where Ryan gets a beautiful frag grenade kill for himself. But now, as we are talking, IPG4 they have to make their way inside the circle. How do they do that with so many teams just beside them, just around them? And Log1, now they are stepping up. Now they've taken down the players of Exentric Infinity, and Shuvo, his vehicle exploded, as a result of which he was taken down, of course. And now Leo, he is knocked out. He needs that res on, but Stranger from the backlines taking down Mahfouz, as Sincere and Marshall are the 2 players surviving from their team.
Indeed, IPGX are getting contested from both of the sides, and even IPG4 ARC are trying their best to actually contest down IPGX Sincere, but it certainly is not going to be that easy for them to actually take him down. But just take a look at the sprite coming in from Stranger, with that Uzi going to be taking him down with those long range, actually, and that's just an absolute fascinating thing to watch. But now just take a look at over here, Marshall trying to reposition himself behind the rock, but certainly he's going to get contested by ALxK9. That's an unfortunate situation, unfortunate turn of events coming in for them. But now ALxK9 certainly showing that they do have one of the most capable responsibilities inside the circle as well. They do need to actually take a lot more players down if they want to survive. But just take a look at Mehra is also going down from Ryan. It seems like Blood Legion is actually stepping up their game.
They certainly are right now, so can be said for KSX, considering how they've been performing in the past. I think this is a pretty decent outing for them. But right now, AGT9, now this is a team that has the highest probability of getting the chicken in this one, as the players of Log1, there you can see falling down to IPG4 Now, they've kind of engulfed them. They're kind of in a good spot right now. They've been spotted out, of course, by Shade over here, who any single moment can just lob a grenade and can put Dadlove out of his misery. But Dadlove, taking so much damage from the zone, and then the moment he tried to get inside the circle was where Shade really struck him, and well, will take him down.
Yeah, just a little bit of spot of hair, a little bit of glimpse of hair, and Shade's gonna be spotting him and gonna be taking him down. But now there's the entire squad of IPG4 right next to him. How is he gonna be capitalizing on each and every single person? Okay, this nade might be huge if he manages to hit even one, cause Dictator is certainly down to solo HP and barely making it alive. Dictator. But one knockdown is going to be coming in through Venom going down as well. But in the process now, of course, Dragon has put himself in a really good position because Gyro has went down from Blood Legions as well. But over here, Dictator seems like he does want to contest that down kill, but certainly it's not going to be that easy as he takes the cover behind the car. But just take a look at ALxK9 position as well. Shade does have his eye out for his teammate. He does want to make sure that his team is completely safe.
Well, you know, now ALK9. Now they've gotten 7 kills for themselves, and not Shade. He's not backing off over there, and he's just peppering down all those bullets with his Corel. And look at Blood Legion, they are still alive. They're still kicking somehow. You know, in a position where they had 3 of their players knocked out, it was just that one guy, Leo, surviving. And he's managed to get Ryan back on his toes. And now he would want to confirm that kill onto Chiku. And I think he'll do that, get that extra point going in for himself. 5 kills already. But now that was too much. That was too much. He exposed his body, as a result of which Leo falls down. It all comes down to Ryan, who's doing some heavy damage with 4 kills to his name right now.
Indeed, Ryan definitely has the big number, especially if you take a look at Blood Legion. But now, AGXT9 seems like they are in the most comfortable spot, securing all their members, which is going to be 4 members alive for them. In this kind of late circle, of course, is going to be just absolutely dominative spree coming in for them if they actually manage to completely dominate the end circle. But certainly, they are not going to be doing so. They're going to be trying to play it out as passive as they can. But seems like Ryan did went for the res on his teammate, but at the end time, he went completely down. But now, in Blood Legion, Ryan seems like he is getting contested from the other squad, and he's taking a heavy kind of damage. But now just take a look at Dragon as well. Going to be going down in the process. ALxK9 Esports has been completely eliminated. Now, seems like AGXT9 are in a little bit of trouble as Dragon has completely went down. Stranger has his scope completely locked in. Beautiful shots coming in from him. Going to be spotting his head barely and still going to be taking him down. Now, Stranger, of course, this man has such a massive gun power coming in and such a massive firepower overall. It seems like Blood Legion is going to be taking an exit on the 4th number.
Yeah, they're taking exit on the 4th position with 5 kills. That's still a really good outing from what I believe. But right now, we are down with the last 3 teams. You know, it's AGT9 going against IPG4 ARC. This is the big fight that we are talking about. There's one more player from a different team, which we will, of course, see in a few moments. But right now, I mean, the way AGT9 and even the boys from ALK9, you know, not Shade, he's the 3rd last player. He's a solo survivor. Kind of in a similar position, just beside Taban, and they're kind of ignoring each other right now, because one of them, if they want to, could just divert their attention towards the right side or vice versa and get a knock over here. But right now, Taban with that beautiful grenade being popped off, and it's not going to connect onto anybody. It's a smoke, absolutely trying to flush out the players maybe of IPG4 ARC.
But now there's a massive wall right in front of them. It's going to be IPG4 certainly building that wall for them. How is even ALK9 or even AGT9 will take them down? It's going to be interesting to see, because certainly the zone will be forcing them inside as the zone is going to be shrinking down and down. Just take a look at this. The zone is moving now. Seems like Shade will be stepping out, and as I'm talking about, T9, Taban has went down as well. Now there's another member coming in from T9 as well. They are trying to contest onto Shade's position. Shade taking a heavy damage or taking heavy suppression fire, but doesn't really seem like it's going to be stopping Shade anytime soon. And as I am talking about, seems like Insane has already gotten the res onto him, and in the same process as I'm talking, Insane has went down as well. Now there's only one more person left for AGXT9, and how is he going to be playing it out? Now Shade, of course, taking a little bit of zone damage. Yeah, of course, just take a look at how much chunk the zone just took away from his HP.
I mean, it's still the Mexican standoff right now that we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, as it's a 1v1v1, and Venom, Shade, and Death all in contention to get that chicken. And considering how it might turn out to be, it might just be anybody's game. Of course, Death having that slight low ridge advantage for himself because Venom cannot really easily spot him out. He's got a few smokes to work out with, but how is he going to do that? There's no chance on earth that Venom can go in for a revive onto its Stranger, and Stranger must not even come to its Venom because that is basically meaning simply on the plain paper that he's just giving away the position of his teammate. And of course,
oh my God,
getting those
he actually gave his position away.
Yeah, he certainly did. Now it's just a two-man situation, 1v1, Death or Venom. Who is gonna win this one out? All they need to do is just connect those shots.
It seems like Death is finally going to be stepping up, and Venom is going to be taking him down. A really big mistake coming in from him.
You know, it was a mistake, but he took the chances. That's all I can say. And of course, now the winner chicken dinner going towards the players of IPG4ARC, which was quite a kind of a confusing circle, even for me, in terms of how the players really acted upon it. Because I really expected them to, you know, be taking some movements. It was a lull in those final moments, right? It was a lull where we really thought that someone is going to take that step. And yeah, you know, huge props to the boys from ALxK9. And now, this match has gotten themselves to the top 5th position, and you know, 12 kills, that's a really good approach. And everything came down to just that fact that they had the numbers in the end to back them up. They took those quick rotations, they took the fights very wisely, because this was a circle that was way too much in the open. You know, we did see a lot of teams, you know, back and forth going after each other, so a lot of teams did fall down to that. But overall, IPG4ARC, you know, maintaining that consistency, did manage to get the chicken.
Of course, getting that massive 3,000 damage as well. IPG4ARC just played so well in those end circle. Of course, a little bit of mistakes were made in the end circle by the enemy team as well. If he just managed to actually just stay prone all the time and just keep on moving, there might have been a little bit of chance for him to actually spot him down.
He got impatient, I guess.
Yeah, he just got impatient. He was like, all right, I've secured the second position for my team already, so it doesn't matter even if I go down. It's just going to be not that much of a difference. But now just take a look at the MVP, and who is it going to be? Seems like it's going to be Shade this time with 7 kills. Big numbers coming in from this man.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you talk about Shade. I think he was the last lonesome survivor, and exactly what ALxK9 needed right now. They were dead last in the point standings, right? And this game is certainly going to help their cause. 7 kills out of this guy. He survived for so long. He was left off, and his teammates went down pretty early in terms of those final circles that we did get to see. But, you know, he was relentless. And I think the best part about him was how good he was with his positioning, especially in every single fight. He just held himself on over there, not really giving away a lot of room for the opponents to take him down. Not a lot of grenades were also there. But let's take a look at the top players and see who they were in this lobby.
Of course, Shade going to be with the massive kill number. It's going to be 7 with 1,040 damage as well. Stranger going to be following him up. We definitely saw that man just mowing everyone down with that Uzi, and with those four kills. And even look at the damage number. He certainly has the most damage in the entire top players.
Yeah, he certainly did. But, you know, that's the thing with the Uzi. You get those close range knocks and kills, but once you get the knock, it kind of becomes really difficult to commit with the Uzi trying to get that confirmation for yourself. But, you know, moving on, this was also another good game coming out from the boys from AGT9. I mean, they also put their hats out. And IPG4ARC, well, this is a team. You know, the way they perform, they had their players along with them. It was a rather team effort, that I might say, because for ALxK9, it was more of not Shade really performing so very good. But right now, let's take a look at the match summary and see how the numbers game worked out.
Of course, I mean, yeah, I'm actually really happy to see C-Man over here, because I had my eye on the kill feed all the time, and this man was just like absolutely blasting everyone off to their death. I definitely saw like his name at least like 3 times in the kill feed with those getting those nade kills, and which is really impressive coming in from C-Man. But as we know, this man is just so good, and of course, Exentric has one of the best players. It's going to be CY that they have to offer. But ALxK9, of course, stepping their game up this time and actually coming up on the 2nd position as well. And IPG4ARC Stranger with those 3 maximum assists. And as I was talking about Stranger, of course, again, it's going to be 1,172 damage. As I was saying, he certainly has the most damage in the entire lobby done.
Yeah, he certainly does. You know, but talking about the different teams, the other teams, you know, ERZTRZ, XCVS could not really pop off in this one, and the misery kind of continues for ERZTRZ as we take a look at the match rankings, and we'll have a even more clearer picture over here. But of course, IPG4R coming up on top, AGT9 not far behind with just those 10 kills at 22 points. But ALK9, this is what they needed, right? Being in the bottom last, I think this 18 points is going to help them elevate a few spots up in those bottom order.
Of course, yeah, this is going to be a massive lead coming in from them with this second position and securing those 22 points for them. And of course, that's 10 kills. But one thing I'm really impressed from IPG4R is securing those 12 kills and 27 total points.
Yeah. 27 points is really big. But right now, you know, I want to divert your attention towards Log 1 and XP Blood Legion. 13 and 11 points respectively for these two teams, right? So now if you talk about these teams, so Log 1 had been again really consistent with the circles. They got a few kills here and there. But Blood Legion also having the top spot in the overall rankings. I think this is not going to do any kind of damage to them. This was a kind of consistent game that we're talking about. But now, let's take a look at the team that's dead last, ERZTRZ. Like I even discussed while the fight just ended, it was complete, an absolute disaster for them in terms of how they had positioned themselves. Because yes, now this is where the thought of thinking too much really comes into the play, right? So they had two players in the compound, two players outside up in the hills. That's a really good strat once you're starting to play in those PMPL. That's because that's where, you know, the teams love taking those flank angles. You can find someone off guard. But right now in Bangladesh region, where you're looking at teams that, you know, are head-on pushing at you, you know, two players definitely cannot, you know, do enough against a four-man squad, and they were not in a position to also give them that essential cover fire because they were engaging against XCVS over there. But right now, let's take a look at the Oppo moments and see how this beautiful map turned out for all these teams.
This backline coming in from C1 was just so massive. He completely obliterated the entire team of A1, and they just couldn't do anything because they were just getting pinned down from even the front side, even the left side as well from SLX, and even in the backlines it's going to be just C1 just mowing them down with that DP. And of course we all know how accurate DP is. And now in these end circle situations, of course this is where IPGX got in such a massive trouble, and he did try to reposition himself, but of course he didn't really have any kind of info about his backlines, and they got caught off guard by this. But this is the end fight that was happening over here. Of course IPG4R did have two men securing for themselves over here, and in the end, of course, I had a little bit of like hopes going in for Blood Legion as well, but Leo went down. This is where things really started crumbling apart for them, and then overall just these kills just came in through, the kills just like flew in through, and then everything just went through the vibes.
I mean, look at Notchade. He did so much over there. I mean, more than he could really chew, but you know, getting that some kind of a position for his team, the third spot, I mean, it's not too shabby either. Of course, AGT9, they put their hearts out. They also had the numbers backing them along. But it was ALK9 that I'm really impressed with. And IPG4R, of course, getting the chicken. They will be enjoying that top 5 position. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the damage graph and see the damage. You know, the 3,000 massive damage coming out from these lads from IPG4R.
Of course, I mean, this is what I was telling you. Like, take a look at the damage number. It's just so massive. And securing that, even like any kind of damage for us, like 3,000 plus, it's just such a big like deal itself. It's just a massive achievement. But now overall, Blood Legion definitely not showing up. One thing I really want Blood Legions to do is that no matter how passive you guys play, you guys are not going to be coming up on the top. You will have to go aggressive, because we didn't really see Blood Legion stepping up until the late game. And this is when they actually started thriving and started taking those kills for themselves. But Blood Legion, I feel like the early aggression is just what really works fine for you guys.
You know, I think the only problem that happened with Blood Legion was the early loss that they dealt with, and they could not really recover. And after that, the players just kept on falling down. And but still, that's not going to impact a lot on the overall ranking. As we take a look at it, I'm pretty sure that Blood Legion is going to have that top spot over there. So once we have a clear idea, there you go, you know, 78 points. They've kind of started increasing on those points that they have started collecting. The difference, the margin is of course over there. Now ALxK9 ESPORTS, they are also doing a phenomenal job, staying at that second spot. But look at the difference now. Second spot till the sixth spot at least.
IPG4 moved up so big.
Yeah, I mean that's the comeback meta that I was talking about. One good game and you're back in the competition.
Indeed, one good game as you were talking about. And yeah, of course, IPG4, as I'm talking about, they've just moved up so high in the placements. But overall, of course, take a look at INERTIA as well. Now, they are coming up as well. But yeah, if you're taking a look at the next page that is showing up, A1, of course, certainly was not able to show up. Of course, yeah, they did get contested from the back lines from C1. But yeah, certainly in those upcoming games that are coming up from Sanhok, I'm pretty sure A1 will be able to show that consistent performance again and trying to like get those survival points for going up for themselves.
I mean, considering how this circle went on, I'm really interested to see what happens in Sanhok. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be pushing for a short little break because coming right back is the action from the rainforest. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Bangladesh region, of course, sponsored to you by Oppo Reno 5, as we head along to Sanhok. But the first map that we did get to witness was quite chaotic, considering how the circle really panned out. Teams were having so much trouble, traversing around and finding their own established space. And we did see the players of XP Blood Legion at a situation where it could have really gotten worse, but somehow Ryan and Leo kind of kept their team at bay, did manage to get those consistent position points and still holding the top spot. But now we're moving into Sanhok. What do you expect?
I mean, yeah, I of course expect a lot much more aggression coming in from these teams because we already know all these teams are so aggressive overall. But one thing I really want to see is Log1 like getting a little bit of success in over here, because if Log1 does manage to actually get to those top 3 spots, even a decent amount of kills with, like, for example, 7 kills. But now let's just take a look at the head-to-head comparison between Blood Legion and Log1, because we have been seeing these two teams are like, okay, Log1 is more kind of like on the passive side, and they're still able to get on this top 3 spots, and Blood Legion is just a completely domination. They are just complete aggressive, like the pure aggression. This is what we call Blood Legion. But now just take a look at the damage dealt over here. It's going to be 9,180 and 3,135. This is literally what it says, like how much Log1 has been getting into fights and how much Blood Legion has been getting into fights.
I mean, right now, the point that I really wanted to pick up over here was the position points. I mean, despite the fact that Blood Legion, they're still on top, Log1 do have more position points. And lacking in that kill department is clearly hurting them. 47 against 12, that's massive numbers that we are talking about over here. But still, in terms of the point standings, they're not far behind. It's just those 20 points. And it's easily doable if you get one chicken. If you manage to get at least 7-8 kills, then you might just reach the players of Blood Legion. So that might be a really interesting situation. But in Sanhok, things might get really might get really tricky over there. But now let's take a head-to-head look at ALxK9 and XCvs. Two of these teams, finally ALxK9 managing to secure that second spot for themselves, both of them having those individual wins respectively. But they're kind of very closely contested in terms of stats, but look at the damage dealt.
Look at the damage dealt. It's literally double than what ALxK9 has to offer. But just take a look at the kills as well. 25 and 26, not that big of a difference, 1 kill difference. But the damage numbers, XCvs is just absolutely dominating them. I don't know how can this happen.
It's conviction.
I just feel like XCvs overall has just eyes all across the map, and they're just mowing everyone down wherever they see.
Yeah, this team is certainly the silent assassin, as we can speak of. Yeah. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's just directly head into the rainforest and see what these teams have to offer.
Indeed. Now, taking a look at the plane fly path is actually really good, to be honest. Like, comparing it to the previous ones, yeah, of course, the plane fly path is actually pretty decent. But now, if you take a look at the...
Two teams are not there.
2 teams are... Oh, yeah, I just noticed that. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Maybe they had some troubles connecting in or something. We don't really know what exactly happened with them. But, yeah, now taking a look at all these teams, seems like they are making their way onto their preferable compounds or onto their preferable spots. And certainly now, the circle, the circle is actually really, this time, today, we're seeing so many good circles coming in. And just take a look, like, this circle literally covers as much as the land this map has to offer. And of course, we know Sanhok is a small map overall. So of course, yeah, this circle is like one of the luckiest circle that each and every single team has to ask for, because even if they just want to barely get inside the circle, they just need to step out their compounds for a while and yeah, just get inside the circle. It's not going to be that long of a rotation coming in from any of these teams. But now taking a look at INES, one thing I am really noticing from INES is that they are going for the same position. They even went for the same position last time. That same city there, it's going to be Kampong, and they are just going there all the time, over and over again. It seems like it's their city. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Me personally, I love that city as well myself.
Kampong and INES, they've got a history. They've got a pretty good history, and I can talk about these moments time and time again. And after that, they did, of course, have one of their players also shifting up onto its Lakavi. But this is a pretty standard Sanhok circle, to be honest, which possibly can go anywhere. It can go to its maybe boot camp. It maybe can shift towards barn. It might also go down to its quarry. Now, quarry circle is one of those circles which is really tricky to approach in this particular map. So we've got to see how these teams play this one out. But before that, I believe A1 Esports 952 C minor has spotted someone from IPGX in the far off fray.
Indeed, they have. But now it doesn't really seem like it's going to be that easy to actually get that early knockdown in. Of course, getting those early kills in your favor is actually one of the most hardest things to do. And certainly, IPGX is going to be proving my point, and he is going to be backing off. Yeah, of course, he doesn't really want to give his kill away to A1 1952. But certainly, A1 1952 have been struggling a little bit in the previous game as well. But this is where they can actually step their gameplay up overall and just try to show us that how good they are. But now, IPGX seems like he is actually taking a lot of damage under the water. He needs to actually step up a little bit, and it doesn't really seem like he's going to be doing that, though. B1, you need to step up. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. B1 was actually taking so much of that water damage, but now it certainly seems like Fake is going to be capitalizing onto his position. They are moving closer to the river, but are they going to be able to spot him?
I mean, at this point, you need to calculate as to what you're losing out on. A1 Esports 952 definitely might get those kills in their favor. But at the same time, Necro, they're wasting their looting time. They're wasting their very precious time. And this might hurt them in the longer run of things. But as we speak, Exentric Infinity losing out on one of their players, not being able to connect. And that was their flanker, one of the major players. That's C-Wine. So that's going to be a huge shock to them right now, playing inside the lobby without him, because he's been such an instrumental player for his team. After every single kill, you got to see that C-Wine was having a very crucial role in it.
Indeed. Of course, he is playing a really crucial role. It seems like C1, of course, has been one of the players that is pulling the strings every single time for his team. And if you're going to be missing out on a player like C1, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble, because especially C1 is just such a mechanically skilled, gifted player. And overall, I feel like C1 is the person that actually completes the entire team.
Yeah. He kind of puts all the pieces of puzzle together, and he kind of binds the team into one well-knit unit, is what I can say about that player. The way he's been playing, Exentric Infinity are blessed to have him with him. But taking a look at the players of Log 1, I mean, Rolex, Fuad, Chiku, they've been doing so well in terms of position points, like we've already talked about. And this airdrop, the first airdrop coming in, not the most preferred airdrop these days, because teams are tending to avoid it so much. I mean, they spot that AWM and they're like, nah, we might just take a pass, because right now what the meta speaks of is those DMRs, is those M249s, is those Grozas.
Exactly, and it's going to be interesting to see who is going to be taking the responsibility in their hands to actually use that AWM. And now, overall, the performance that these guys are being shown now. XCVS, yeah, of course, as you call them, they are the silent assassins of the game over here. But now, this time, are they really going to be silent, though? This is what I really want to watch out, because from what I'm seeing here, XCVS certainly was once those early kill games for them. And, of course, yeah, that we all know how important those are if you manage to secure those early games for yourself. And yeah, indeed, overall, what I'm exactly trying to say here is that if you're able to contest those early game kills, of course, you're going to be having a little bit of breath of fresh air for yourself in those late game circles, because all you would have to do is actually try to contest a little bit of kills, not all of them, and then just overall play for your positioning.
See, I mean, right now, yeah, 100% agree with you. But Team Max, we haven't really touched upon them at all. Not really having a first good game as well. They've been kind of looking off, after that one day of glory. They've sort of vanished, to be honest. And we had a lot of expectations from Ironclad. And they could not really deliver or keep up to the promises that they, instilled in the hearts of their fans and all the viewers. But moving on further, KSX. So this is another team that we need to talk about. And they've been having so much trouble in trying to deal with a lot of things. They're kind of getting caught off guard. Their fights have been completely off. And this is where I need to scoff about them, because this is a team that is really experienced. They have been in these situations even in the past. And I really thought that maybe this team could really improvise around this time. But if they keep on continuing playing like this, like, this has been no graph of improvement coming out from this squad, this roster. So they need to really, really check themselves up again and fix all those problems that they're having and come back stronger. Because today is still one of those days where you can make a few mistakes. But from tomorrow and the days following, you do not have enough cushion.
Exactly. One thing I can definitely tell about taking a look at ERZxTRZ is that they are ready for the late game trouble, because certainly securing that bootcamp area for yourself is going to be giving you such a juicy loot for yourself, and also you're going to be getting all the guns that you are comfortable with using. Now, one thing it seems like over here, A1 seems like they are in a little bit of trouble. And A1 1952 Magneto certainly seems like he does have his eyes locked on onto the hill that is going to be right in front of them. It seems like Blood Legion are the one going to be contesting that hill right over there. But is there a fight erupting anytime soon? Because Max is right behind them as well. And if you take a look over there, right next to them is even Exentric. Are the fights going to be happening, though? This is the massive questions that I am even asking myself. But just take a look at the rotation coming up from top side. It's going to be XCVS. If they keep on taking the same route, they might be the team joining the rally as well.
I mean, considering how the circle is starting to pan out, all these teams, look at them, everyone contesting for the center position, right? Now, if you take a look at ERZxTRZ, now this is promising. This is fine, considering all four players are together, and we know for certain that they know how to take those fights. They don't have problems in terms of their gun skills. But what is really off about them is their rotations and their positioning during those fights. If they can work on both these factors, and if they can improvise, I'm pretty sure by the end of today's evening, I think they might just make it to the top 8.
I mean, yeah, of course, yeah, they might make it to the top 8, but certainly when you said to the top, I thought like they might be able to make it to the top 1, and of course, Blood Legion is not gonna.
Maybe tomorrow.
Blood Legion is not gonna let that happen anytime soon. Like Blood Legion is not gonna let any of the teams surpass them, and I'm pretty sure in the last game as well, Blood Legion is just gonna be showing an absolute domination spree as well, just like they did in the previous time. But now taking a look at another airdrop, which is gonna be again. There are so many on the map right now. There are certainly 2 that we ever actually successfully able to spot, and which team is going to be contesting that airdrop, though? It doesn't really seem like really works on Sanhok map, because as we haven't seen not a lot of teams actually going for the and it seems like Shade trying to shoot someone through the ground, but certainly I need to tell Shade that is not possible.
I mean, he did spot, it's those pre-fires that they're going for, to be honest. But yeah, like, you were talking about the AWM. This is the only gun which I would have, really said was good for a map like Vikendi, not even Miramar, to be honest. Because in Vikendi, you have got those close quarter compounds, and someone might just, tend to peek around. That's what players do. And that's where, guns like, the bolt actions really flourish and shine. But as we move along, so we of course for sure know that ERZxTRZ are kind of aware about the positioning of ALxK9, and since they've of course given away their shots, so all these 4 players, they are all looking at one particular direction. But that's where things might just go south, because you can never afford to do so. You need to have more control over the bootcamp area. It's just a huge area. You're giving away that first rotation and also the center compound just because of the fact that you've got one team right in front of you. Those are those mistakes that you kind of lead to a downfall for such a big team like ERZxTRZ.
But indeed, now take a look at ALxK9's position overall. Yeah, they do have that compound secure for them. Those all 4 warehouses going on to the side, but there is a team right next to them as well. Now it's going to be A1 1952. Are they going to be like trying to at least contest them out? Doesn't really seem like they are going to be doing so, because of course, yeah, A1 does have an overall better view on the entire situation that is happening in front of them. Yeah, of course, they do have the hill region coming in. But certainly, as the zone's going to be shrinking in, they will have to give up that position as well. And overall, it seems like ALxK9 seems to be paranoid about the areas that are in front of them. And just take a look at how passive this entire team is. None of them are either, like, any of them are trying to take any chances, because they just want to play so passive. And certainly this time we are seeing Bangladesh region actually going for that passive strategy.
I mean, Yeah, but at the same time, we can't really be critical about it because, hey, there's so much money on the line, and more than the money, it's the top 3 spots. So everyone kind of has figured out that they need to get those position points going in their favor. So it's completely understandable. And having just 14 teams in the lobby and not 16, so that's also another factor as to why we are witnessing this lull in the lobby so far. It's kind of like the calm before the storm, to be honest, because it's still 12 minutes passed by. By the 17th or the 18th minute mark, I think that's where these teams might start popping off.
Indeed, yeah, they might just popping off. But overall, like, just take a look at Blood Legions. Yeah, they do seem like they do have one of the best positions inside the circle, but they might get contested from any other squads. But if we take a look at over here, seems like INES is in a massive trouble. Losing two of their players are already knocked down. And how are the rest of the INES member going to be dealing with the situation that they are put in here? LOG1 certainly seems like they are going to be the dominator of this entire fight coming in through, and they do have the info on the Clutch and Salu. But is Clutch going to be able to clutch the entire situation out? It's going to be the interesting factor to see, because LOG1 certainly do not seem like they are going to be having enough anytime soon, and they do want to finish those kills, and yep, certainly they are going to be doing that as well, as the first blood is coming in after such a long time inside the game. The first blood has came in, and yeah, of course, all these teams are trying to get those kills going in for themselves as well. But INES finally decides to actually just back off, or either make a rotation or just try to get an overall better flank angle for themselves. But yeah, INES at this point, I can confirmly tell and confidently tell, is that they have already lost both of their players. Taking a look at it on its HP, yeah, of course, this man is just gone.
Right now, this was quite interesting to see Lock1 getting the first blood. But at the same time, INES, well, they were out in the open. There's no chance on earth that they can really go after Newt, and he falls down. And Rolex will, of course, get that kill. But at the same time, INES were taking the chances. They were just way too much in the open, did not really have any cover going around for themselves. But losing out on Garjor right from the very start, I think that's going to be really, really, hurting them. Because he was one of the players, yesterday we did get to witness that he was absolutely playing so well. And suddenly today, we see a completely different INES from the kind of a performance that they have put up so far.
Indeed, but now just take a look at the fight that is erupting in front of them. And it seems like Max is going to be taking a heavy beating. Already the first knockdown is coming in onto Casper. Casper certainly did not expect himself to be caught in such an unfortunate situation. And Max seems like they are taking heavy damage. Max certainly need to do something, certainly need to capitalize on the position that they are putting themselves into, but XCvS doesn't really seem like they're going to be stopping anytime soon, and Vischer is just going to be challenging each and every single fight, each and every single angle that he can. But now King certainly making the move onto his teammate. He realizes that he needs to actually get the res on it just to get even a fair advantage inside the fight, but Jerry has taken a heavy amount of damage as well. In the process, Jerry going to be certainly healing himself, applying that med kit, getting himself back to that 100 HP mark, but Witcher also taking a heavy amount of damage in the process, and King is certainly getting the revive done onto Casper, and that is going to be coming in. But beautiful nade coming in from them, and it's going to be knocking down another member of going to be Max, and it's going to be Umar going down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Team Max, they need to do something. They've already taken that loss as XCvS look to redeem themselves as they charge in. The cavalry has already arrived. These are those 4 horsemen that have nothing leaving behind them. They are those cold-blooded, ruthless killers as they've spotted down their victims. They are in for a hunt. And Casper, you've got to see how long he stands. Yeah, I mean, Jerry with that another beautiful knock has got enough room to just make that push in. But as he does that, Demon comes in again and takes down King in the process. And with that being said, XCvS, they are charging in as the last player surviving from Team Max. That's Ironclad. He's still making a run for his life.
Indeed, beautiful Kobe's coming in from Jerry. They took 2 of their members down, and they weren't even able to realize that until the nade hit them, they were just completely down. Beautiful time management coming in from this man as well, and just what a well-placed nade, I would like to call it as. But now take a look at Ironclad as well. He does realize that A1 1952 is right in front of them, and even XCvS is behind in the back lines. He might get contested if he's going to be keeping on running the open ground from XCvS, but XCvS doesn't really certainly seem like they do want to catch Ironclad in the process of running away. way. Ironclad still making the run for his life, really scared. And he is like a scared rabbit right now. He's trying his best to at least bob and weave all the bullets that might be coming on his way. But it certainly seemed like, yeah, for now he is a little safe. But taking a look at the circle, take a look at the circle shift, and Log 1 certainly having the circle favor as well. Log 1 seems like they are... Maybe they will be able to get this chicken dinner in their hands if they just have the circle going up for themselves all the time.
They've sort of figured out the algorithm, to be honest.
Like,
I mean, every single time.
They've cracked the codes.
Yeah, they've cracked the codes. And every single time, the circle favors them. And, I mean, all they have to do is make sure they've got the positioning right. But right now, XCVS have another challenge, another task right in front of them. And that's daunting. You know, this is a squad that you do not want to mess with. This is a squad that's, I believe that's A1 Esports 952 and Magneto having spotted out, Witcher right out in the open. And he goes down as Magneto makes no mistake in getting the knock over here. But the remainder of the players, they are actually committing for the push, and one shot gets taken down. And by the looks of it, A1 952 just surround the XCVS and wipe them out, delete their existence from the server.
That was actually such a fast squad wipe coming in from A1 1952, especially we did not expect them to actually do this good against a big team, which is going to be XCVS. How did this just happen? XCVS is going to be the first team that has been eliminated completely off the bat on the 13th position, and that was the first ever elimination coming in inside the entire game of Sanhok. But now take a look at ALxGR. Seems like they are going to be in a massive trouble as well. Losing on one of their crucial members is certainly not going to be a really good news for them coming in. But now take a look at ALxK9. Seems like they are in a massive trouble as well while they're getting pinned down by ERZxTRZ. ERZxTRZ certainly does want to contest the entire focus onto them, but certainly they will have to move inside the zone as the zone is contesting them as well. They will have to move inside the zone. The zone is closing in, but Danger seems like he's going to be crawling towards his teammate. Are they going to be able to get their raise onto him though?
I mean, that's a bigger question over here. But, you know, coming back to the fight that we did witness a couple of seconds earlier, that was XCVS. A lot of mistakes were made from them. The first one, of course, being even after spotting out the players of A1 952, they still went in with those pushes without any frag grenades, without any stuns. Nothing really committed. They just went head on. So that kind of became the reason for why they were taken down so early on. I mean, A1 952, you try to do something against them like that, they're going to punish you, and that's what they did. It was a quick, fast squad wipe.
Indeed. Now taking a look at the elimination spree again, Max seems like they're going to get eliminated onto 0 points. We did say them like getting an unfortunate turn of events, but yeah, of course, as we were focusing on the XCVS, I feel like they just got a little bit more overconfident as we saw Witcher just completely repositioning himself in the open grounds. Of course, you're going to get caught off guard if you're going to be in open ground and trying to put yourself on the flank angle. Yeah, you are going to get contested by any other squad. But now take a look at the situation that might be occurring in front of us. ERZxTRZ, certainly one of the strongest teams, trying to close in onto Blood Legions, but which team is going to be coming out on top? Of course, we know the ERZxTRZ certainly has the firepower, especially having a player like Mamba on your back might be giving you a lot much more advantage. But just take a look at Blood Legion already shredding that blood. The Spartans are certainly raging.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they are angry. They want that chicken, but right now they also need to get inside the circle. But before that, they are taking down players of Exentric Infinity one after the other. You know, just the last player surviving. And I think they're kind of in the dark about the fact that Exentric Infinity are just playing with their 3 players. And at the same time, you know, they have to make it inside the circle. So really not going for a push against them. But Thunder, he still healed himself up. With just 2 seconds remaining, it's going to be a really tough and difficult task.
This, man.
Yeah, I mean, Gyro, what do you expect?
He's not letting anyone cross to the guy which is knocked down. And Gyro just has an absolute beamer in his hand, which is going to be M4 3x scope, going to be doing so much for himself in the process. Now, of course, Exentric does have to move inside the circle as well. They are getting contested outside, and Gyro doesn't really seem like he is going to be caring about them anymore. He's going to be also trying to get inside the circle. This is what I really like about Blood Legion, you know? They don't just focus on one squad at a moment. Of course, yeah, you're not going to be able to contest those kills. If you know that, yeah, they just let it go. Okay, it's fine. We might just be able to get another kills in our hand, but just take a look at the position that is coming in from Gentleman right in front of us. Gentleman going to be hiding from behind a little bit of shack, and doesn't really seem like IPG has any kind of any kind of info onto them. But now just take a look at where ERZxTRZ Mamba has positioned himself. The entire Blood Legion squad is right in front of them. If you manage to get the flank onto Blood Legion might be in a massive trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he would love to backstab them as long as he's getting those points going in. But he's rather gone in for that healing battle, securing those 12 first aids. But at the same time, you know, Gyro somehow still being alive in such an important position. And A1 Esports 952 also biting the dust in this one around. But Blood Legion, now they have spotted their prey. Next up is Log1, but at the same time, look at Mamba's position. This is going to spell absolute disaster because nobody from the team is looking at their backlines.
Of course, yeah, backlines. I mean, of course, who's going to be expecting someone to stay outside the zone for this late? And yeah, even I would be getting caught off guard in the backlines if I were them. Of course, I wouldn't be taking outside the zone anytime soon. But now just take a look at Leo. Seems like he does want to do a little bit of damage onto the players of Log1, but certainly not going to be able to contest anyone down. But Mamba seems like he's just going to be staying behind the tree all the time. If you take a look at the minimap, you can still be able to see the live location of Mamba there. And yeah, Rayan going to be healing himself with the first aid. But overall, just take a look at what is happening with Log1 over there. Log1 are in a massive trouble, and it seems like same is going to be falling up for IPGX. Now, how are they going to be able to contest themselves? But Dominic Bot barely surviving in that firepower as well. Dominic certainly going to be healing himself up. And now as we take a look, Exentric has been completely eliminated. Massive mains are getting eliminated out of this game.
I mean, Blood Legion might have had just too much on the plates to deal with, considering the kind of cover they had. They went beyond themselves, and as a result of which, two players, in fact, have already been taken out. But now what do we see? IPG4 going against KSX. I mean, now Venom is knocked out. Dictator, of course, would want to get that race on, but considering the circle has started to shrink in, that's not a possible chance. And the KSX, they need to be really careful because Dictator, oh, right, that's not how you push on a team.
Yeah, that's not how you push. I mean, certainly he thought that they all actually pushed outside this house, but they were just inside waiting for him. I mean, yeah, I mean, which is certainly a common sense if you take a look. I feel like IPG4 did make a massive mistake, but I'm gonna hold on to my thought for a second. And it seems like one of the KSX members also went down. Now it's all down to Isan if he's gonna be able to get that resin. Of course, he is gonna be able to get that resin. But as we talk about that, Mamba has been eliminated out of the game as well, and same as his team, which is gonna be ERZxTRZ, completely backing out from the lobby as well. But now KSX still trying to spam any kind of damage out through that smoke. He's trying to spam the smoke. If he thinks that there is actually just someone behind the smoke, yeah, there is, but it is in the complete backlines. It's going to be strangers still crawling away from the smoke. Just take a look at this man. It's actually so funny to watch him just crawl away from them. Just take a look at him. He is just a small slithering snake.
I mean, he's like, guys, I don't mean any harm. I'm gonna strike when the moment comes alive. And now he spotted out Marshall going after that fray. I believe he's kind of revealed his position. But Yashiro working himself out with just those two last first aids that he had. And Ryan falling down to Mahfouz, of course. Now, this is the game that IPGX desperately needed. This is the game that they needed to, you know, kind of have themselves inside the games. Now, we are looking at the teams that were not really playing so very well yesterday, finally trying to make a comeback.
Oh my god, look at this.
Yeah, and Stranger right beside each other.
Oh no, Stranger, spot him, please.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh my god, he did. And he's going to be taking down Sakila in the process as well. But Stranger has been contested down, and the trade is going to be coming in instantly. Beautiful plays coming in from KSX as well. But also losing one of their members in the process in the late circles is going to be, of course, such troublesome situations going to be for them. And now it's going to be a one-on-one situation for all of them. It's going to be Infernal, Parasite, GX, and KSX. Which team is going to be coming out on top? Infernal, Parasite certainly has that man advantage going up for them. And as I'm talking about, one man has already went down for them. And it is a literally, equal situations coming in from both of them. It seems like KSX are certainly going to be changing so many positions in the process as well. But Infernal Parasite, are they going to be able to capitalize on the KSX position? Mera is getting spotted in the process, taking a lot of damage, and seems like Infernal Parasite are actually doing the same as well, taking down Esan in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. As it comes down to the last two teams that we have in hand right now, IPGX going against KSX. Both these teams in search for the revival over here as Mahfouz gets that beautiful first knock onto its Miraz as the push comes in from the lads of IPGX. All comes down to Sanhok. He's got to do something, but no, he cannot, as the boys have finally managed to take down KSX and IPGX with a beautiful, beautiful, phenomenal chicken dinner coming to their name.
for Infernal Parasite finally stepping up. As we were talking about this team as the show started, we were saying that Infernal Parasite weren't really able to show up this time, but yeah, they certainly have proven me wrong, and they are really showing up for themselves this entire time. Now, how is it going to be interesting to see that next map is going to be Miramar? Which team is going to be coming out on top? I have so many hopes going in for Blood Legion, because certainly we saw in these top 3 maps, even yesterday, that Blood Legion really wasn't able to show up, and in the end map, which is Erangel again, Blood Legion is absolutely dominated, because they did certainly realize that playing passive is not the way they are meant to be playing, and then they just went completely drilling it through anyone, and they were just the raging Spartans of the entire map.
Now, considering it was just 14 teams in the lobby, I think the boys from IPGX played really well in terms of that final push that they did. Had their players spread out, and KSX was just behind one rock, and it was a rather simpler affair for them. But now let's take a look at the MVP and see for ourselves who's that one player that's going to be there. It's Ryan. He does not need any assist. He wants all the kills to himself. 6 kills yet again. Blood Legion continuing their consistent performance, but at the same time they need to start putting a leash on their aggressive pushes, which are sometimes unwarranted, sometimes uncalled for, because from what I see, that this team is trying to make it inside the final circle, and they do. They take so many fights at the same time that it kind of becomes too much to handle on their plate.
Indeed, it kind of becomes sometimes, but overall, Ryan, just the overall performance this man has shown is just absolutely beautiful, because we did see this man just absolutely stepping up sometimes, and of course, that was one of the gyro moments that we saw. He was just not letting anyone cross over, and he was just beaming anyone down in his way and in his path. But now, let's just take a look at the top players, and I'm really interested to see, is Gyro going to be on the list as well? Is Gyro going to be there? And no, certainly Gyro is not going to be there, because I feel like that was the only fight where Gyro actually managed to dominate, and then later on, Gyro wasn't really able to do much in the entire map. But Mahfouz YT certainly showing up himself as well with those 5 kills and 523 damage, and Sabik coming up with those 3 kills, 691 damage as well, while Ehsan just going to be following it up in the backlines. It's going to be 3 kills and 334.
I mean, Mahfouz, we've seen this guy, that one map of Miramar, going absolutely berserk, bloodthirsty, and right now, I think this map of Sanhok has finally kind of reminded him of how good he is. Now let's take a look at the match summary and see how the numbers game really worked out, and it's Ryan all over in those first 3, and then of course Gentleman, the longest distance travel. We did see him trying to pop off those first hits, but that was in vain. He could do as much as he could for his team, but God's Reborn, they've been completely off lately.
Yeah, indeed, God's Reborn have been completely off lately, and they weren't really able to do much. But yeah, over here, of course, seems like they were the one who actually were taking the longest route in the entire map. And certainly we did see him popping those first aids in the end. But yeah, he did manage to secure that top 5 position for his team as well.
Yeah, he somehow did. But now let's get this conversation back to ERZxTRZ Mamba yet again. Now, he had 13 first aids, and he had 2 choices. Either try to go against Blood Legion, or else just try to keep popping up those first aids up until the point you survive, and then you just die, and then you get those position points for yourself. But from the kind of a class that I've really been witnessing about, what we've been seeing from Mamba in those group stages, I think he could have really done that. He could have, taken 2 or 3 players down of Blood Legion. But now let's take a look at the match rankings and see how many points have all these teams secured for themselves in this map of Sanhok.
Of course, Infernal Parasite coming up on top with those 8 kills and 23 total points after securing that chicken dinner. How can I forget about it? But now Blood Legion also on the 2nd position, right over there with those 9 kills, beautiful 9 kills coming in, and also 19 points. While KSX, we did see the last end fight was between KSX and Infernal Parasite, and still Blood Legion actually managed to put themselves in the 2nd spot. And even though they were not on the 2nd place as well, now this is what actually Blood Legion shows. This is the way Blood Legion is. They don't need to get those placement points. They just need to secure those kill points for themselves, and the rest, their skill will literally show, and the leaderboards will speak for themselves. And overall, taking a look, of course, 2 teams were unfortunately not able to join in the entire game. Yeah, of course, they are going to be losing a massive point stages for themselves. But yeah, of course, in the upcoming games, they might just absolutely pop up and just fill up the game.
yeah, they certainly can, but in the regional finals, it's certainly not recommended to miss out on those games. But now let's take a look at the open moments that we had, and carrying forward with the discussion. And I think we've finally seen the players of Log 1 opening up a bit. Sabik getting those 3 kills for himself, and all these fights. So this is where mistakes started happening. This fight they did performed really well, but at the same time against A1 1952, they were not prepared for it at all. All they had was just the position of one player. They were kind of in the dark about the position of the others, so they were kind of punished heavily regarding that. And Exentric Infinity, of course, not having their flanker, they had to take that. They have to take the aftermath of it.
Indeed, they did have to take that. But one thing I really want to notice is that the way Jerry actually threw those Kobe's onto the enemy team was just an absolute such a good and berserk moment there. Like, he was just not missing any kind of nade throws from himself, and just the timing, just the way he was cooking those nades, it was perfect. It was bouncing once and then going off the bat, and it was instantly blasting. There's just no way you're going to be able to avoid those nades.
Yeah, of course, you certainly can't. You can't deal with such a nade barrage going right in front of you. I mean, you dodge one, you can't dodge the second or the third. Someone is definitely going to do, or maybe some chip damage here and there, as we take a look at the damage graph of this particular map. And I think this was not a kill-heavy map, to be honest, because considering we just had 14 teams in the lobby, so that was definitely an issue. But look at the damage again on Blood Legion. I mean, of course, IPGX did walk off with the victory, but it was still Blood Legion getting all those kills. Those 8-9 kills that they gave every single point, backed up with some decent position points, at least on the 3rd, 4th, 5th spot. I think if they kind of continue doing that, they're going to be untouchable.
Indeed, one really massive disappointment coming up in here is that INES. We were expecting so much from this team since the start, and they were only able to get on top 3 position in the first map of the first day, which was Erangel, and they were only able to get those top 3 position. And of course, later on, they just weren't really able to show much up.
Yes, that certainly has been a problem, and losing out on Kaior so early in the game, that's certainly gonna hurt them, and it did actually. But now let's take a look at how much it has really impacted on the overall standings. And well, Blood Legion finally almost reaching that 100 mark. Of course, Log 1 not really far behind, but the difference is not that huge over here. It's kind of very minuscule, to be honest. And again, they've secured the 2nd spot for themselves. The consistency is really being shown over here. But at the same time, Infernal Parasite, just that one game, now they're in the 7th spot.
Take a look at the Blood Legion kills over here. 56 kills. They're just way far away from anyone in those kill points.
They're bullying everybody.
Yeah, they're literally just bullying everybody. Having 56 kills on 2nd day, especially, it's just only 2nd map. What are you guys doing? How many energy drinks are you guys drinking a day? I really want to know. Showing that kind of performance every single day is just an absolute mind-blowing thing for myself.
I mean, considering we've just had 6 matches played and 56 kills, you're talking about almost around 9 kills per game average. That is how brutal, that is how dominating Blood Legion has been. But as we move down below, the misery for Team Max, the likes of Wolves Black Diamond, continues. Of course, ERZxTRZ, courtesy to Mamba, has managed to secure a few position points, but that's just not enough. I mean, considering their potential, they should have been in the top 5 by now. But yeah, like we mentioned, it is what it is. So we've got to see, in the remainder of the matches, how are they going to perform, because this team is completely feeling the heat.
Indeed, and one massive disappointment coming in as well. Of course, INES was the first one, and then Wolves as well. They're not really able to show up. A moment of silence as well for them, and I feel like in the last game they weren't really able to join in as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't afford that, right? I mean, you're in such a tough spot. You need those games. You need those points for yourself, and not being able to join the lobby, that's such a huge bummer. And I mean, whatever maybe the reasons, you've got those internet issues going in, so anything could possibly be the case over here. But it somehow has impacted on their morale as well. They know, the chances are getting slim, for that comeback to make those slots in the PMPL. Now, after a certain point, and they'll be like, okay, chuck it. I am going we're just going in for the money, and we'll try to get the majority of the chunk. So a lot of things are going in the minds and the hearts of the players. But as we head on into Miramar, do you think ERZxTRZ and the other teams can actually make a comeback over there.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, ERZxTRZ will be able to survive till the late game. Of course, yeah, they will, because, I mean, we aren't really seeing, like, those first eliminations going off till it's, like, literally the late circles as well. So I feel like, yeah, ERZxTRZ will be able to survive till those late circles, but certainly not going to be able to capitalize on those higher positions.
They certainly have to do something. They need to get themselves figured out. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading for a short little break, because coming right after is the deserty lands of Miramar. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as you are watching day number 2 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021 Bangladesh Regional Finals, in fact. And right now, heading into Miramar, we have seen all these teams that were kind of lacking off in the first day, suddenly picking up the pace, getting those chickens. And now, I think the competition for those top 3 spots has become more intense.
Indeed, of course, it's going to be intense as the days progresses on, of course, because the competition is certainly going to be much more and more and more each and every single day. And each and every single day, all these teams are going to be putting new strategies on the board. And how they are going to be playing it around, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be really interesting to see. But right now, let's take a look at a head-to-head between two teams that have got the same points in the overall standings. And we're talking about XCvS and IPG4R. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, this is where I need to be critical about XCvS. They've not been popping off. A lot of mistakes, even in the first game, even in the second game. And now this is against a team like IPG4R, who have been so good coming into the second day.
Yeah, I mean, first thing, if you take a glance at, the main thing you're going to be, like, you know, taking a massive, like, notice at is going to be the kill difference. They do have the 9 kill difference going in, and of course XCvS is going to be taking that kill lead over here in this head-to-head comparison. But of course, yeah, you just take a look at the overall damage as well. I mean, certainly taking a look at IPG4 ARC, they're not really far behind. Yeah, of course, just 1,000 points over here and there. Yeah, it's okay. You can be closing out a little bit of damage difference in one of games. Yeah, of course you can be able to. But certainly XCVS does need to step up for their name as well. The reputation they've built in the past few days, they're certainly not really able to show why the reputation is there for them. And now this is certainly the moment where you need to actually step your gameplay up and step your strategies up and just come out with a real unique ways to actually counter and tackle all the teams that are getting in your way.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. I'm really kind of feeling disheartened because of the fact that XCVS, this is a team that is not known for getting a lot of kills. They are known for their possession points, and they're certainly lacking in that department. I mean, they've got a few kills working in their favor. That's fine. But you should never leave your forte. You've been known for those consistent performances and getting those final kill frags, right? Final circle frags, and they've not been looking to be in the zone of things. The first game, again, caught off different rotation. The second game, a big, huge mistakes being made by this team. And if this keeps on continuing, the kind of a lead that they built for themselves in the first day is definitely going to go out. And but on that note, let's just get into the map of Miramar and check for ourselves as to how are the teams going to perform. And voila, all the teams are here. But Log1, of course, playing with just 3 players.
Indeed. I mean, for surviving to those late circle Log1, you would definitely need all your teammates alive.
Yeah.
But most of the times you see Log1 surviving, it's just one of their players always staying alive till the end. And it's just that one person from their team who is always securing those massive survival points for them. And now taking a look at over here, it seems like INES is one of the teams that actually drops off really early all the time from those playing fast. And seems like this time they are going to be going to Trailer Park. A really interesting choice coming in from them as well.
They're heading towards Ruins.
Yeah, they're heading towards Ruins, but also like Trailer Park is just quite near them. So they will probably be contesting that area as well and try to get the loots in as well for themselves. But now overall, taking a look at the position these guys are in, this is going to be interesting to see how these guys are going to be working around it. But now, what I'm really interested to see is like which team is going to be landing into Las Leonas. This is what I really want to see over here, because if you are going to be able to contest the entire Las Leonas area, you are kind of certainly in a really, like in the middle of the circle overall. And even if the circle is not really favoring you, for example, if the circle is on the El Hazar side or even on the El Pozo side, it's certainly going to be easy for you to make those rotations in that circle because it's not going to be far away. And yeah, of course, this is what I'm talking about, the El Pozo side circle covering La Cobria and Ahmuda as well.
I mean, if you talk about this circle, this might just end around somewhere towards the power grid area, to be honest, because you've got San Martin, you've got Hacienda del Patron right beside it. And I think AGT9 does have a really good chance because right from the start, right from the get-go, they've taken that King of the Hill spot for themselves. And now, this is the first time, perhaps, in the PMCO that we see one of those teams actually going to the Ruins area, because this was this was introduced after the new update, the new changes to Miramar. And finally, I mean, we were still looking out for the time when one of those teams would actually go there. And like I said, dreams have become a reality today.
Indeed, but now, as the circle shifts, is definitely interesting. Yeah, of course, most of the teams are actually inside the circle, but just take a look at the chaos that is happening in the middle of the map. The center of the map is where you need to always have your eyes in, and this is where there are literally 5 teams literally just covering all the compounds next to each other, and at the same time, they are trying to rotate around each other and just trying to overall take control of the situation in their hands. And really good driving coming in from this man.
I mean, as long as he did not get his squad killed, I'm fine with it. And yeah, questions will definitely be raised if he drives in such a manner when there's a squad rattling all those bullets at your vehicle. So as long as he's managed to escape from that, he's a pretty good driver. Let's just not put him on the spot on this one at least. So now all these teams are actually trying to rotate around, and A1 1952. Right now, this is a team that has been playing decent so far. Getting those squad wipe on a few big names, XCVS being wiped out by them. But later on, they could not progress inside the circle properly. So this has also been one of those situations or one of those things that they're having trouble with. Bangladeshi region players, they're very good in terms of their gun skills, but it's still their rotation where there's kind of lack, and you can't really blame them because it's their first time playing the PMCOs. They'll take some time to adapt, but time and tide waits for none, as the saying goes. So they need to really do it quick.
Indeed, as you said, time and tide waits for none. That's a saying said by a great man. And of course, I don't really know the man's name, so I'm not really
gonna ask who.
I'm not really gonna be going in depth.
Google.
And I'm not really going to be going in depth for that. Again, on Google, who wrote that, I don't really know. And yeah, of course, the saying is really important, as of course, the time and the zone, as I would like to say, is not going to be waiting for anyone. And the zone is certainly going to be giving you the little bit amount of short period of time. And then if you're not going to be respecting the time as well, if you're not going to be respecting time itself, then time will definitely be punishing you. And zone is just there to actually take you down.
Right now, we've got these phenoms in front of our screen right now. Blood Legions, the Undertakers, as we, might point them out. I mean,
no, the Raging Spartans.
I mean, the Raging Spartans, Undertakers, a lot of adjectives can be used to describe how prolific, how fantastic they are. And, they've certainly earned it, right? It's not like, they're just, holding their spot, waiting for the fights to happen. They're going right on the face of their enemies, just using all those moves. And, yeah, there are times where you can see them making those small mistakes and they're being punished for that. But they don't care. At the end of the day, they end up with those 9 kills, 10 kills. Despite even having 2 to 3 position points, they're still on the top 3 position.
Indeed, I mean, yeah, of course, this is what I was saying. Getting the momentum in your favor, in your flow, and securing that top position in the first day as well, it's going to be just a massive relief. It's just going to be side relief for you because, of course, in those late or even in the late days, if coming up, and if you're not really able to show yourself up that much, you would at least be able to contest that top 3 position as well. You will be on top, no matter how bad you do. You would certainly be able to at least get, no matter somewhere around 7 to 8 points per game, and that is still enough to actually secure yourself at least that top 3 position going in. Especially a team like Blood Legion, we all know that top, either 7 or 8 points is just nothing for them. It's just like so easy for them. They'll be able to get it done in just no matter of time. But now taking a look at one of the teams that Fixes really has his eyes on, it's going to be LOG1.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Fixes and LOG1 has a long-lasting relationship since a long time, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this relationship is going to be maintained by LOG1 in the future days as well.
This squad had really impressed me in the first day of the group stages, and of course, from there onwards, I had an eye on them, and they've been had a lackluster performance after all. But once they came into the regional finals, they picked themselves up from the deads, and they were like, it's a clean start for us, let's just do it in a good manner. And so far so good. But again, playing with a 3-man squad, that's gonna hurt them, at least in a map like Miramar, which is so vast. And you need to have your eyes on all possible directions, because a lot of teams are going to contest you, and you need to be prepared for any kind of threat looming around you.
Indeed, you need to be prepared for any kind of threat looming around you. Well said by my man Fixes. But now, focusing on the game as well. ERZxTRZ is certainly not really able to step up their gameplay, but this time, this map might be a little bit of as we say, light for them to actually get in there and just start dominating the entire lobby. But ERZxTRZ still certainly seem like they are sleeping. They need someone to actually wake them up, and we all don't know how is that going to be happening anytime soon. Certainly, yeah, there is seems like unfortunate turn of events happening to them all the time, and yeah, so sometimes you just have a lot much more bad days, and yeah, you need to actually work around it and try your best. So, sometimes your aim is just not hitting. Sometimes the strats you're making is just getting unlucky. They're not really working out. Then you just need to work around it and try to find a different way overall for yourself and your team to play around the edges and even just, you know, try to secure at least those survival points for yourself.
You know, that they will of course try and do. But right now, XCVS. Alright, so again, coming back to the discussion to this team, they need to make sure that they have their positions right. You know, XCVS and ERZxTRZ have been dealing with the same kind of problems. It's just the difference that XCVS had a really, really good time yesterday. So they've got that cushion they're building around them, but look at the circle shape. It's gone to a bit towards the western side, like we had really predicted, you know. And a lot of teams are going to be contesting for those hills. It's going to be really tricky as to how these teams are going to approach on this one. But ALxK9, I mean, what an evening are they having right now? They're enjoying themselves. They are sitting in the top 3 position. And this is what I've seen in the past, you know, a team not really performing so very well, kind of making barely into the regional finals, and then they start popping off and they come in as the surprise package. So I think for me, ALxK9 is a team that has impressed not just me and you, but the entire Bangladeshi region and even people watching from afar.
Indeed, and one thing I would really want to like pop out over here about KSX is like, yeah, they are a really good team, but certainly their performance somewhere is actually just like really downgrading, and they need to find a consistent spot for themselves to actually work around as well. As we are taking a look, seems like there's going to be a fight occurring between LOG1 and Blood Legions. Now, Gyro going down in those early game phases, and we really do not want to see that happen. And it seems like Rolex is certainly going to be shining his wrist on the sun and going to be taking him down as well. But now seems like Rolex still wants to capitalize on the entire area that is going to be in next to him, and Rolex certainly taking a little bit of beating from a Blood Legion. They are trying their best to actually take Log1 down, or at least throw Log1 away from that hill that they are trying to contest them, but now Blood Legion successfully able to do that. Log1 certainly going to be backing off, but a little bit of stunts coming in from the buggy as well, and seems like finally they're going to be getting into that safe foot.
They certainly are. Right now, we've got the players of Log1 finally putting their foot on the accelerator pedals in terms of getting those kills, and they're getting those early kills for themselves, and that's a really good thing. Now they are the guys who have kind of cracked out the zone code, right? They know where the circle is gonna form. All they needed to do and all they needed to fix was take a few more fights, you know, kind of have their hands heated up, warmed up, and you know, every single kill is definitely gonna help you a lot. So they kind of understand and know this fact, as you know, they're taking a lot of shots onto its opponents. Of course, getting that one kill, but coming back, what we have in front of our screen over here is SLX Ironic going against A1 1952. Now, this is going to be a rather tricky fight because we can see Execute69 already having that flank angle, but he does not have that higher elevation needed to get those bodies visible for him to really shoot.
Indeed, but now overall, and analyzing the plays that is happening in front of us, seems like SLX Ironics and A1 1952 might be going inside a fight together, but are SLX Ironic going to be trying to challenge the fight though? This is going to be interesting to see, and certainly it doesn't really seem like they do want to actually challenge this fight, which is a really mature decision coming out of SLX, because they were certainly in the open ground, and now Ironic certainly deciding to back off, which is a really good and really well-placed positioning coming in from them as well. They are going to be trying to get a better on position for themselves for those late game stages, which is a really mature decision, as I already said. And now SLX Ironic certainly going to be finding themselves a compound which is going to be free of enemies, and seems like over here Folk is trying to still trying to do a little bit of damage onto them, but certainly not going to be able to actually capitalize onto them. Two-Fake trying his best to actually contest them down, but the rotation has already made in. SLX Ironic are already safe inside the compound, and the entire A1 1950 squad has to rotate into the circle as well, and they do have a lot much more open ground going in to cover for themselves. Also, the late rotation might be, of course, be punishable for them, but now taking a look at another situation that is occurring right in front of us, it's going to be ALxK9 going up against ERZxTRZ, and ERZxTRZ certainly do not seem like they're scared of anyone. Take a look at White Cat. This man is just booming around all over the place.
Yeah, he certainly is right now. But ERZxTRZ, like we mentioned earlier, they have to really figure out how to survive at least till the end circles. Because I know that this squad, if they manage to do that much, I think they can have a pretty good outing out there. Considering the fact that Blood Legion have already cemented a very solid spot for themselves inside the circle, they're looking comfortable. And so is ERZxTRZ right beside them. But look at IPG4. I mean, Dictator, he does not have any care in the world. And
Yeah,
he's got that red dot, but he's still, spamming those bullets down.
Yeah, indeed, he's just not scared of anyone. He's standing in the open ground and just spamming those vehicles down. And the same process seems like IPGX Sincere is certainly going to be capitalized onto his position and realizing that he's the only man standing for his team right in front of them. So he's going to be stopping his car and trying to actually challenge the fight while his teammates have already ran off and slipped away from him while Sincere making a move right in the open fields. Unfortunately, if he gets caught off guard over here in this point in time, it's going to be such a hard point for him to deal with. Now, Sincere still making a run in the open ground, going to be contesting the vehicle that is right in front of him, certainly getting lucky with those vehicle spawns as well. And IPGX Marshall trying to spot anyone with those rotations. Seems like it's just going to be his teammate making the rotation inside the compound. Now, for now, IPGX definitely has a little bit of safe position going up for them, but certainly as the zone's going to be closing out, and if the circle's not going to be fortuning them, then yeah, it's going to be such an unfortunate turn of events going up for them. And I'll take a look at the entire SLXGR position as well. They are getting contested by another squad in front of them. And at this point, I feel like each and every squad knows each and every other squad's position, and they do have those squads locked down in their sights as well. They are just waiting for them to actually make any kind of mistake and step outside the cover.
Yeah. Right now, RPG4ARC. So this is a team that has a good spot, like you mentioned. And they've been playing fairly well today. Now, they've spotted our players down of Wolves in the far fray, peppering down a few shots, in fact, tapping with that Mini 14. This is the game where, Mini 14, the guns like SKS, SLRs really shine. And all you need to do is learn how to use them. And he's got that suppressor, which is sort of an additional help. And it's not really difficult to control the weapon, really going bonkers when you are actually using an SLR. It's kind of more easy. The weapon is more stable in the case of Mini 14. Of course, the trade-off here is the fact that you deal less damage. But the third airdrop coming out, and with that, all the teams have their hearts broken as the circle makes a shift directly onto the northeastern side, and that's going to be somewhere centered around.
Well, how is Logwin getting so lucky with the circle shift all the time? They're in the center. Know. How do they know where the circle is going to be ending up? Yeah, they've literally cracked the code. So what I'm telling you, like, this is literally just impossible positioning coming up from them. But seems like ERZxTRZ is a massive cover fire, and certainly going to be lucky enough to actually not take any of the bullets or not hit any of the bullets in the process as well. But ERZxTRZ is certainly in a massive disadvantage coming in as Rare and SCFU has already went down for them. Now, White Cat and Mamba barely surviving on their knees as well. We all know what Mamba and White Cat are capable of. But certainly, are they going to be able to pop off this time, though, as 3 members from ALxK9 have already contested the entire area right in front of them. But now still, White Cat trying his best to actually survive, and in the position as well, Mamba trying his best as well. But now seems like the entire ALxK9 squad is trying to get over a better on positioning, and as we take a look, seems like White Cat is under heavy fire, and Mamba is making his way, certainly way as well, but ALxK9 already are down on their knees, and they are crumbling apart one by one, as Mamba and White Cat, their duo is just absolutely relentless.
Yeah, the duo is definitely relentless, but at the cost of what? The opposite 16 teams are still alive, then they've already lost on two of their members, so that's gonna hurt them as they move their way inside the circle. So next time, Necro, when we are casting, and if I ask for predictions, all you need to say is wherever log 1 is. I think.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, this is a circle situation where there's going to be panning out. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, because it's just all the time. It's just absolutely so fortunate.
Every single game.
Every single game. Yeah. But now to take a look at the fight that is happening. It's going to be IPG4ARC Deagle barely surviving inside that smoke. Also going to be smoking his position out. Barely getting lucky with those nade position as well. But that nade, of course, is going to be taking him down. Beautiful nade coming in from Gentleman. Going to be closing him down completely. And now it's all down to Stranger. One of the strongest men they have to offer, but in the same time, they are getting contested from the backlines as well. INES is still there in the backlines. Are they going to be able to do much though? Now he's trying his best to actually survive. Having that little container for himself behind the truck, and he is still just proning his side as well. Now INES and seems like SLXG are in a fight as well.
They certainly are, as INES finally have a good chance of taking a win in this one. And look at Ironic, the control with that AKM going absolutely berserk on that 3 times, and Kayor does have that Kar 98, and that might be a beautiful headshot, but no. I really thought for a second that it did hit him, because God's Reborn, they were way off from where they should have been. But yeah, Shiro getting a few kills here and there. And with that being said, IPG4 take a very early exit in this one.
Indeed, they are being taking a very early exit, but of course, I wouldn't really call it early exit because the zone is still late, and there are too many teams surviving in the late zone. So of course, yeah, that is early exit if you take a look at technically, but if you take a look at it as a caster's view, of course, that's not an early exit because the circles are leaving really late, and there are not really teams getting dished out that early off. And now just take a look at the entire positioning coming in from SLXGR. Certainly, they are a little exposed from the hilltop, but now Newty going to be taking a little bit of damage onto his head, but certainly going to be going back to cover as he has the level 3 helmet, so that's not going to be doing that much damage.
I mean, that certainly won't, but at the same time, getting eliminated on at, the 16th position, 14, 13, certainly these are the things that these teams can't afford at this particular moment. Now, INES, now they've got to get themselves inside the circle, considering the fact that we have the boys from God's Reborn still alive. Yashiro falling short to the players of Team Wolves. Now, this gives a chance for the players of INES to really act upon, and we haven't really seen them going after that, because you've got a lot of smoke cover to work around, and God's Reborn might just be getting eliminated pretty on, because they do not have any escape route over there.
Exactly. One thing we haven't really been seen in Spotlight is going to be Max, but now it seems like ERZxTRZ is also going to be taking an early exit. But just take a look at INES over here. Seems like they are getting contested from even the backlines and even the front lines, and seems like XG Blood Legions are going to be in a fight, and we all know what Dominic is capable of doing in this situations like these. He might just clutch everything out in the positioning for his team just to overall get an advantage, and Dominic taking a little bit of chip damage from that nade, but just take a look at beautiful nade placement coming in from Dominic. This is what I'm talking about. This man is just well skill gifted, mechanically gifted, while his run is sprayed down. Mehraj, but certainly not going to be able to do that, and then the spray going to be exposing his entire body, and also going to be getting contested by the entire team of SLX.
Yeah, that is happening as kills, bodies, everyone is just flying left, right, and center over here. As Sick Fly does manage to connect those bullets, We had 16 teams just a minute ago, now we are down with just 12. And Blood Legion, they've already lost on their star player, that's Gyro. And now they've got to work out without him. And so far, Ryan has also been the star performer for the squad, stepping up when things are going south. And they've already managed to garner 3 kills for themselves. They've got a few squads just on their, foot below, and they've managed to get a few knocks here and there, and KSX getting some heavy punishment from these lads. And Leo, as the moment he was just speaking out, trying to get that knock in, was taken down instantly, but it's Ryan who will put the final nail in the coffin as KXX are finally eliminated.
Indeed, Ryan is going to be closing the things out for his team, but now Leo has been also taken down in the process. KSX getting eliminated with only 1 kill. Unfortunate turn of events. Now just take a look at how INES is getting contested over there. They are getting pinned down by the only one car as coming in for their cover. Now Dominic Boss still barely surviving, though. He managed to actually survive for his team, and still now looking in a really good spot. Now take a look at Jigsaw over here. Jigsaw definitely one of the players that will do not want to lose, especially in those late game circles like this, and this is what I'm talking about. Jigsaw steps out of his cover, unfortunately, and is going to be taken down, but just take a look at what is happening. Ironic spraying down a lot much more bullet, and Execute finally taken down as well in the process. Dominic Bot just getting absolutely spammed inside the smoke.
Yeah, of course, it was Agent who dealt that blow, and they would be, of course, trying to get that res onto him, as finally Ryan is doing the cleaning job. He's gotten a final kill, and Wolves BD, they also bow out. But right now, Blood Legion, they have to make their way inside the circle, and considering so many teams are in the nearby fray, it's going to be a rather tough task. But now, as we speak, he's made himself get a decent cover, and he spotted a few players. That's the teams of A1 Esports 952. But as we talk along, we've got the fight going on between Long1 and XCVS. Both these teams are trying to fight it out for the survival over here.
Indeed, Log1 certainly seems like they are getting contested from either their backlines, and now Chiku, if you are going to be staying exposed to that window, you will be taken down by the another teammate, but seems like Sabik is there in the backlines to actually cover him down. Sabik still trying to watch out, still playing a little bit safe in the areas of himself, trying to spot anyone off guard. Doesn't really seem like anyone's going to be making those rookie mistakes, and seems like Chiku is also going to be smoking him out, just to provide him that extra bit of cover and extra bit of relief inside a fight like this that are happening inside the house. And of course, he knows that there is one guy right above him, and also there is one guy right next to him. But now just take a look at what is exactly happening around in the situation as well. There are so many knockdowns going in the process now. Gentleman also going down. It's going to be Log1. Sabik with just absolute domination spree and absolute rampage, with securing those 5 kills for himself. Now ALxGR Yashiro seems like he's just going to be having that small hay bale as his cover. Yeah, he is barely making inside the circle as well, but now if he managed to stay out and even just like prone with this position that Sabik has over here, I feel like Yashiro might get spotted anytime soon.
Yeah, he certainly can. But right now, if we take a look at the players of Log1, you know, they're kind of separated from each other. A1 Esports 9 and 52. One Shot is the last player surviving. Now, you've got Blood Legion also in the nearby fray, who have also kind of cemented their position. But, you know, I'm going to call it for Log1 on this one, considering their position. But they're kind of isolated from each other. So, if they kind of play their cards right, if they get a few knocks here and there, and kind of tend to stop the onslaught from the boys of Blood Legion, then they might have a possible chance of winning out on this one.
Of course, they will have a possible chance of winning out of this one. Dominic trying to smoke himself out, just trying to make him a little bit of cover for himself just to get inside the little warehouse that is right in front of him. And even he's just going to be riding inside a massive truck. Is this going to be a successful thing, though? He might be taking a little bit of damage and it doesn't really seem like that's going to be happening anytime soon. Yeah, that was definitely the most safest route that they can actually think of. And now certainly they are inside the circle and also do have one of the best compounds going up for them as well. But now, Blood Legion certainly needs to actually dominate the entire end circle to actually get the entire game in their hands. One Shot, just take a look at them. Certainly proving his name, but not really the shot. He's going to be the one man standing. And now taking a lot of damage in the process, but taking Dominic down in a one-on-one gunfight is a massive opportunity for him. And he's just going to be opening so many advantages for himself with that one massive frag.
Yeah, I mean, that is what he needed right now to get inside the circle. Now, what he does from here on is his, we've got to see if he's got that mental power to just let the fights happen, to be the smarter one of the lot. You need to be a fox over here, not a wolf. You need to understand the fact that you're the only surviving member of your team. Your team is facing some troubles, and you might give them that position points that they so long for. But right now, One Shot trying to cook those grenades, giving away his position one after the other at every single moment. Right now, he's making a lot of noise. So he's going to be punished for that pretty much soon. But if he gets rewarded, that's fair enough. That's understandable. And now look at Dominic. Oh my goodness. This lad does not seem like he wants to stop. And there you go. The Kobe coming in. One Shot with that beautiful nade delivered right on his face, as Leo will have to, just back off and try to get that revive onto his teammate.
This is the third time Dominic has went down in the entire time, but this is definitely going to be a little bit embarrassment moment coming in from Dominic as well, because certainly going down so many times and Leo is there to support role for him is actually a really good situation coming in from Dominic as well. But Dominic certainly needs to step his gameplay up if he actually wants to dominate the entire end circle. But now just take a look at Sabik over here. Sabik is going to be taken down, and that's going to be the entire end coming to Log1 as well. They definitely did have one of the best circles coming in, but certainly not really able to step up to their name, and going to be eliminated on the 5th position. Of course, securing that massive 8-kill number as well. They do have going in a little bit of decent points outside this game as well. Securing that 14 points is going to be a massive points coming in as well. But now A1 Esports 1952 also barely making it. One Shot is going to be the one player that is going to be surviving in those late circles for them. But now take a look at the entire positioning. The 4 teams are inside over here. It's going to be XCVS, A1, SLX, and Blood Legions. Now, which team is going to be coming out on top is going to be interesting to see because, of course, Blood Legion and XCVS do have equal amount of circumstances and equal amount of player left in their squads. And, of course, One Shot, the only one man alive, and even GR Yashiro is the only last man standing for them. So it's a 2-on-2 on 1-on-1 situation over here that we are witnessing right now.
I mean, of course, now A1 1952, they have done a really good job, but we cannot rule out how good Yashiro has been across all these maps. Even in Sanhok, I did believe he survived for quite some time for his team, and that was just not enough. And he's been relentless. He's been doing everything possible for his team. But right now, if you take a look, XCVS, I think that this is where the final fight is going to be at. You know, XCVS and Blood Legion definitely being the top 2 contenders over here in getting those chicken going in for themselves. But there you go, finally spotted him down. Yeah, I mean, all right. He's giving all the call-outs. He's giving all the call-outs. And look at this exactly know where he is. It's just a cat and mouse game. Who spots the other first is definitely going to come down as a victor. A low toss. Please, change it. Make it a low toss.
No, he doesn't need to. Oh, no.
See, I told you.
Yeah, the low toss would have definitely gotten him, but also that is going to be giving his position away, but One Shot is going to get traded out instantly, and there is going to be the Blood Legions in the backline going to be taking him down instantly. But now, Yashiro going to be trying to close up onto Blood Legion. Dominic Bot going down. It's all down to Leo. Leo going to be capitalizing onto his position, and that's going to be Blood Legion taking the game in their hands.
Whoa. I lost it. I absolutely lost it over there. I mean, what did we just witness, Necro? What on earth was that? That was pure mayhem. Blood Legion walking home with that chicken with 14 kills. And we've got to give the props to One Shot. I mean, considering the fact, you know, the way he tossed that grenade, he got that one knock. And the next moment, he could have gotten the second. True. But that's where Dominic kind of struck in from behind. He got eliminated and XCVS also got taken down. But at the same moment, Yashiro did have that MK14 for a second. I really thought he could have pulled it off, but no, that was not the case.
I mean, it's just going to be so hard, especially against Blood Legions. A team like Blood Legion and Leo certainly coming up to his name and showing that he is the king of the hill and he is the king, the lion over there, Leo. This is what we were talking about, and certainly proving his grounds, and XP Blood Legion coming up on top.
Yeah, of course, they certainly were. But let's take a look at who the MVP was, because a lot of names might just come up. And it will, of course, go towards Sabik. And finally, Log1 kind of raising the ante in terms of the kills that they've kind of garnered for themselves. You know, getting 14 points out of this one, despite a kind of an exit in the late game. So they were not getting those top 3 positions for sure. But still, it's pretty much understandable and pretty much what Log1 needed. But at the same time, you know, Blood Legion, they are just cementing their way for the glory, for the top spot.
They're just way too good. I don't know what to say about Blood Legions anymore. Like, that squad is just so good, and whenever I just see them absolutely dominating, my voice just always goes up to like a higher volume.
And I mean, they deserve it.
Yeah,
they force us to do that. They're like, guys, we are gonna make your lungs blast off any single moment, and that's what they've done, and that's why we are here, you know, because that's how good and that's how prolific they have been. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the top players that we've gotten for ourselves in the lobby, and a lot of familiar names out there. You know, Dominic, Ryan, and Marshall from IPGX. But you know, amidst all this, we can never rule out the support Leo was providing, right?
Oh my God, that was just massive. As taking the fact under consideration, Dominic got knocked 3 times.
Yeah, he was always there for the rest.
He was always there for the res. He managed to get himself res in those barn areas twice, and then even on behind the hill, Leo actually provided him that cover with those smokes and then get that res in onto them. So Leo, definitely one of the best supports that Bangladesh has to offer right now.
Exactly. I mean, the way he's been playing, I really love how Leo has been kind of performing for his team. You know, they've got those kill fraggers in them. There has to be someone who's going to just assist them in that. And that is where Leo really shines. You can never rule out your supports because the Salters know how important they are for their team. And everyone has a everyone has a part in the entire storylines that we've got for ourselves. But now let's take a look at the match summary and see how the numbers game worked out.
Indeed, of course, Rayan going to be on the highest kill spot, and Magneto going to be following it up with the longest distance kills as well. But now Sabik, of course, one of the unique names that we've seen in a long time. We haven't really seen this man. So one thing I'm really noticing from Log1 over here, when it's those late game circles, Log1 always has that one player standing, and the rest of the teammates always just quit out in those late game circles all the time. But Dominic Bout, certainly. Okay, so one thing I really want to put analysis on the end, what happened there. Okay, so of course Leo was being the more support player, and this is how we actually know that he is an actual support player. In those late fights, they of course heard Yashiro completely pushing towards the barn.
Yeah.
So now the first man actually stepped outside his cover and tried to challenge the fight between Yashiro was Dominic.
Yeah.
And this is what actually proves there. Dominic is the main fragger coming in for their team. Dominic and Gyro. So of course, as a main fragger, he will have to be the one to actually challenge the fight first. And then Leo was in the backlines with Dominic. If Dominic went down, he just traded the kill out instantly.
Yeah, of course. And it was a trade where, you know, it was still a 50-50% chance that it could go either ways. But still, Leo, considering the fact that he was playing with an M4, I mean, you've got to give it. This is where M4 really flourishes against the MK. In situations like that, players tend to go in for the hip fire, right? And MK is really very way off when you're going in for the hip fire. You do not really connect all your shots. But M4, on the other hand, you can really do that easily. Hitting on your heads, you can just pop heads over there. So right now, let's take a look at the match ranking and see how much points have all these teams got for themselves. 29 coming in from Blood Legion, and Lost Reborn, of course, on the second spot with those 19. They finally managed to pick themselves up.
Indeed, and one thing I really noticed about Blood Legion is like whenever they manage to actually win a game, they're never below that 25-point slots. They're never, because they, of course they're going to be getting a lot much more higher kill numbers, and of course they're always above that 25 total point slots over as well. But now one thing we cannot really ignore here is that one of the underdog teams have come up here, which is going to be God's Reborn. They were not really able to show up the entire time, but this time they actually managed to secure the second spot for themselves.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is also a sigh of relief for the players of XCvS, considering how long they survived till the end. And this is the kind of a team, this is the kind of a performance that I'm really expecting from them. And this is what they've been missing out for on these two matches we had before, right? It's still not the end of the road though. But as we move along, the misery of ERZxTRZ really continues. And KSX, after such an amazing performance, they go down. They go falling back into darkness over there. And INERTIA Esports, like you rightfully pointed out yesterday, even today as well, it was just that first game where we saw some really promising plays from this team. After that, they've sort of been a bit off with their approach towards the game.
Indeed, yeah, INERTIA Esports is not really able to show up. And of course, they do have one of the big names coming in as well, but certainly not really able to prove their grounds in this kind of competition. Of course, you need to be the best to actually secure those top 3 positions, but of course, this is just the second day, and there are still a little bit more days to go forward. But taking a look at the overall, like the way INERTIA has been performing, I really feel like this is going to be so hard for them to actually, like, come back. Of course, it's not going to be impossible unless you just absolutely dominate the entire days that are coming up in the future as well. But I mean, overall, INERTIA might be struggling.
INERTIA is actually starting to struggle right now. They need that one chicken in their favor. But right now, let's take a look at the Oppo moments and see how the action really came out in Miramar. As Log1 Sabik, right off the bat, did manage to take out Hyro out of the equation. So that's a really good thing. And this is where the two teammates of ERZxTRZ were taken out. It all came down to Mamba yet again. And he tried. He did whatever on earth he could, but eventually failed. The numbers were not really favoring him. But we've been talking so much about Ryan and Dominic that we also kind of forgot how good Ryan has been today.
Ryan has just been such a relentless performance that at this point, I really don't understand. Does like Blood Legion have 3 fraggers for them? Ryan, even Gyro, even Dominic, and then it's just all the support role for Leo, because certainly he's just doing so much over there. But Ryan also, this man is just dishing out so much damage for his team, and as well, sometimes he is stepping up there and even getting those kills. And same goes with Leo. Leo is one of the support players that I actually like to see, because when your main fraggers are down, it's all down to you.
Yeah.
You will have to frag if one, try to provide cover for yourself, also try to get those support role rolling in. And now Leo is certainly providing all kind of factors in that one small pack.
I mean, if we talk in a different analogy, let's talk about cricket. We all love cricket, and Leo is kind of the bowler, and you need to score a 6 in that last ball, and he did that.
Yeah.
And he really stood up for his team. But let's take a look right now at the damage graph that we have been looking up for in the regional finals. And well, quite some big numbers, in fact, coming in here. And Blood Legion not really having the top one.
Indeed, Blood Legion doesn't really seem like, but yeah, of course, securing that second position in those higher damage graphs. But one really massive disappointment coming up over here is going to be Exentric. They're not really able to step their gameplay up all the time. And of course, they were only able to secure that 53 damage for themselves. This is just so unfortunate, especially coming in from a big name like Exentric.
I mean, yeah, this certainly was not the game, but look at Log 1. They've got the highest damage. They've could have gotten a possible few more kills for themselves, but it's absolutely fine. But again, we will be coming to another discussion about Log 1 over there. But now, let's take a look at the overall ranking and see how things have really changed. 126 points.
Oh my god!
That's brutal.
I don't know what to say anymore. Securing 126 points, they're already like so far away. It's like a car race, which is not really fair. It's like you're literally giving one of the teams the most powerful cars, and then the rest of the teams like literally tuk-tuks.
McLaren.
And yeah, and you have to like win the race, and Blood Legion is literally just using their accelerator all across the place, and even popping that boost as well. And they're just going all across the road, just all over the place.
I mean, it's basically Blood Legion on that McLaren, and you got the teams on a Renault, and no offense to anyone else, but yeah, you know, this is the kind of a performance, you know, you would expect from a champion team. This is a team I'm pretty sure that we are going to witness so much from their side in the PMPL. I think I might just be calling for it. They are going to go to the PMPL with the kind of a performance that they've been putting out, and you know, almost having thrice the points that Exentric Infinity have collected. That is how dominant, you know, Blood Legion have really been. But we know how intense it gets in the final game of Erangel. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading out for a short little break. You don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching day number 2 of the regional finals of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Bangladesh region, of course, sponsored to you by Oppo Reno 5. As we head along to the final game of Erangel, and this is quite a momentum shift that we are having already. Blood Legion getting the chicken dinner. Tell me, the 4th game, can they do it again?
I mean, guessing on the first day what happened, Blood Legions is definitely showing domination spree. I'm going with Blood Legions again. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm going with my team that I love.
Alright, so we've talked about Blood Legion a lot, but at the same time, we will of course be taking a look at the game, as the game is going to be live any single moment, which will of course drive me to this conversation. Necro, Log 1. I mean, let's just leave the zone prediction to Log 1 this time.
Yeah.
Now, wherever they go, I think that's where the zone is going to end.
Yeah, I mean, next time if you ask me where the zone's going to be, I'm like, wherever Log 1 goes, there's the zone. Yeah, if you really want in-depth like locations from them, yeah, you can go and ask them personally. But now, taking a look at the entire drop like location over here, the plane fly path, which is what I'm talking about, seems like this is one of the best plane fly paths that we have witnessed so long in the entire day of Erangel. And yeah, this is like literally so good. Like, even if the teams, if they want to contest the Severny area, they're not going to be certainly struggling anytime soon. And of course, yeah, not a lot of teams actually do like to contest that Severny area. So of course, I mean, it's not really going to be possible for them to actually go over there because they just don't like that area anymore. And overall, of course, there are going to be some teams actually contesting the Georgia Pool area as well. Rosehawk coming in, and even that Georgia Pool, the entire apartments area as well, will be contested from the people as well. But now it seems like there are a little bit of teams going near the school area. There are 2 teams trying to contest the school as well, so we might be seeing an early action coming in over here. But taking a look at the entire bottom right side of the map, there is a chaos, and just take a look at the circle shift, and there are so many teams on the left side as well. And they will have to make the rotation inside. And certainly, ERZxTRZ seems like one of the teams which is going to be having a hard time to rotate inside. And A1 this time certainly seem like they do want to go for the Fairpier area. And Wolves as well going for the same direction as well. And is there going to be early fight going in? This is what I'm asking myself.
So now the teams kind of, you know, were in the situation where they felt like yesterday also we did see that final game ending towards the Quarry side. So maybe today that could have been the possibility. So that certainly did not happen. And now it's we're back to the old days of our group stages, you know, where we used to have that Yasnaya circle, the mansion circle that you're talking about, Shelter also being in contention. And it's fine, it's okay. But right now, considering how the circle has panned down, I think the players of XCvS might just have a really good chance in finally securing that chicken that they're so longing for.
Indeed, but overall, the position that has been happening himself. But okay, I'm going to hold on to my thoughts for a second. As soon as I see INES, there's just like so many thoughts bombarding my mind at the same time. And one thing I really want INES to do is actually try and win at least one game. And of course, winning that one game would actually take down so much pressures from their mind that is building up and boggling them all the time. Every single time they get inside the lobby, I'm pretty sure, and we all are being in the same spot when you're not really having a great day and great time playing the game. Of course, the pressure just keeps on building up, and then later on, you just start raging at the game as well. But I'm pretty sure INES is also in the same position and the same spot, and INES certainly needs to lose down on that pressure a little bit. But as we take a look, it's going to be a DP with a 6x in the hands of Dominic. And I already see the word destruction popping up in my mind.
Yeah, the moment he, you know, yields that weapon, he goes nuts. No words can describe how beautiful this team has been playing in terms of, you know, how they're going after kills. And now that they're sitting at that 126 points, sitting at the TBD top, and nobody even as close to them. Now they can go for those risky plays. Now they can go onto the face of their opponents. And the kind of a fear that they have put in their hearts, they're going to remember them for a long time.
Indeed. But overall, ERZxTRZ's situation, if we take a look at them, yeah, I really feel like ERZxTRZ, this is the last game of the day, and you really need to step your gameplay up if you want to see yourself in those top leaderboards. We did see this team dominate absolutely so well in those group stages that we saw in the past, and this time ERZxTRZ is just not able to step up anytime soon. They do need to actually step up and just overall try to dominate the entire lobby, because I really know ERZxTRZ does have it in themselves, and if they manage to if they make their mind to just dominate anyone in the lobby, I'm pretty sure they will be able to do that. And over on the other side, of course, it's going to be XCVS. We did see some Demon movements coming in from Demon there, and those sitting inside the buggy yesterday on that Miramar map, and he just surprise attacked them, and that was just overall such a funny moment for us to even cast. And of course, that was one of the most iconic moments that I have seen in a long time going in. And Wolves, it seems like they're going to be contesting the entire military base for themselves. And of course, that's going to be such a massive thing going up for them as well, because we all know what kind of loot military base carries. And once you're going to be looting the entire military base down, you're going to be stacked on each and every single aspect of your loot.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Exentric Infinity not really having the day that they could have wanted, because they've had some trouble, missing out on C-Wine and, all those things. One thing led to another and has kind of resulted them in dropping a few points here and there. But this is a game. This is a game where they can get back into those top 5 positions, right? They've shown themselves, they've proven themselves, and Log 1, in fact, my apologies there, they are making their move in.
Yeah,
they
indeed.
are making their move in. Wherever they stop, I say the circle is going there.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely going to be having my eyes, but just take a look at what happened. Marshall has been caught in a really unfortunate turn of events, and Mufas getting knocked as well, and he actually got knocked by his own mistake. He stepped out of a moving vehicle, which is, of course, going to be penalizing him. Mufas going down. Now, it doesn't really seem like Log 1 actually did capitalize onto their position as well, but now it seems like Log 1 is just going to be moving away from them, and they are not really going to be able to get that finished kill onto Mufas. But if they did decide to stop and challenge the fight, I feel like that would have been an easy 1 point under contestation. But I'm pretty sure Marshall is going to be coming back for Mufas and going to be getting that res in.
Yeah, of course. Right now, Mahfouz, he's in a whole world of trouble. He's not going to get away anytime soon. So Marshall is, of course, going to try to lob those smokes, try to clear, try to build, a smoke path so that he could just get into safety, into cover, to try and get that res back on as we speak. But ALxK9 in a bit of a pickle over here, as A1 Esports 952, Magneto and One Shot going in with the commit. They know there's one player knocked out. They spotted our captain. They'll get the second knock as well. So A1 952, when they know that the stars are not aligning in their favor, they are going to change their destinies, and that's a pretty good way to start things off.
Indeed, yeah. Of course, this time we are seeing some early fights going in as well, and of course, this is what we all like to see: the early aggression, the early kills coming in, and of course, these teams are going to be having a sigh of relief, because in those late circles, they will of course going to be having stacked kills for themselves, and of course, they won't really have to work around for the kills much, because they would already have a little bit of kills secure for themselves. But now, taking a look at the ALxK9, of course, losing two of their massive players is going to be putting them in such a disadvantaged spot, because they are now just down to 2 men alive. And are they going to be able to do much? Of course, yeah, we have seen Shade in those late game situations also in Sanhok, and he wasn't really able to do that much. Of course, yeah, he was able to survive till the late game, but yeah, indeed, in the later phases. But now, let's just take a look at Log 1. Seems like they are going to be making that massive rotation in, and where are they going to be going? This is going to be interesting to see, because wherever they go, the zone follows them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like they are the ones controlling the zone. I mean, the zone is not playing with their hearts. I mean, they say that the zone is gonna be here, so the zone automatically directs itself over to where Team Log 1 is. Now let's see where this circle really pans out, because it's going to be a pretty interesting approach. We've seen those shelter circles, we've seen those Talbot circles, But this one looks like a mansion prison circle. So even Shelter being in contention, still a lot of open areas that a lot of teams can really go in for. So, you know, the majority of the big mansion areas, they have not been taken over yet. Exentric still have a good spot, but, you know, a lot of openings are there where these teams can rotate around. Nothing really happening around the Lipovka area as well. So this gives Team Max Esports a good route to start rotating in through those Lumberjack Hills, and I think they've managed to do so.
Indeed. Now, taking a look at all the teams that are in the outskirts, they are making the rotation inside. It seems like AGX9 Dragon, AGX9 overall is really having a bad day for themselves because they're going to be losing out on the 3 players, and now it's all down to Dragon. Is he going to be able to clutch the situation out? Certainly it's going to be really hard because the team in front of him is going to be Log1, and also they are also getting capitalized from the backlines as well. Now, they are in such a massive disadvantage spot as well. Just take a look at IPGX because they are trying to just finish down anyone that is in front of them. Log1 has already lost 3 players. They are in a massive disadvantage spots over here as well. Now, they are trying their best to actually capitalize on the entire situation that might be coming up for them as well. But just take a look at IPGX Marshall over here. He does know what is going on. He does realize what kind of situation he has been put himself into. Marshall going to be pushing himself up in the forward, and this is really going to be so good if IPGX manages to take that, secure that high ground for themselves, and just look down on the AGX9. They are going to be in a whole world of trouble.
They certainly are going to be in a whole world of trouble right now. But, well, the players over here. Oh my goodness, this is so much for all these fights to just engulf in front of us right now. You know, SLX ironic. Despite that first few games, they've been sort of silent, and now this man is stepping up, getting those 3 kills. But look at what we have. Oh my goodness, the hunters are getting hunted over here as Blood Legion is taking a fight against their old arch nemesis. That's gonna be ERZxTRZ. Leo somehow again living up to the name, living up to his standards, getting those few knocks here and there. But this is where he needs to go in. This is where he needs to strike. It's just STFU surviving, but Leo not really committing in, so this might be a really troublesome situation. But STFU, he's managed to revive one of his teammates, and the others are also getting revived as well. But this gives enough time and space for the players of INES to go clashing in.
Indeed, this is a third party coming in from INES over here. Are they going to be able to clean out the entire situation? Of course, going to be finishing those kills with that beautiful frag grenade coming in. Leo still going to be not giving any kind of sound, being the ninja over here in the entire situation, staying quiet as possible because he doesn't really want to give his position away, because he does realize that an entire new squad has been coming up right next to him, and INES is trying to get those easy kills going up their way. The third party was an absolute beautiful masterpiece coming up for them, and they are definitely going to be securing a lot much more points from that fight coming in. Indeed, and beautiful nades coming in from Clutch as well. What is going on? They are just bombarding the entire building down with those just nade placement coming in. And just take a look at Leo, where this man is positioned himself. He is going to be inside. The crater is not going to be spotted by anyone. Salu will going to be running right through next to him, and Leo still managing to stay safe. I don't really know if that smoke was a good idea, though.
Definitely
that's going to be giving his position away, and now they definitely know one thing, that there is still someone around them. And Leo, that smoke is not going to be providing you cover for a long time, and I'm pretty sure if the next time these guys actually check the compound right next to them, and if they do check inside the cartridge, if there's anyone in, you're going to be in massive trouble. But it doesn't really seem like that's going to be happening anytime soon, though. Newsy going to be driving the vehicle right next to him. Also going to be ramming the vehicle onto the cartridge that he is inside. But Leo's still so quiet. He is so scared for his life because he doesn't want his team to get actually eliminated early off. Leo, the last man standing for Blood Legion. And even if Blood Legion gets eliminated early off, I'll be so disappointed. And it seems like INES are just so careless. They're just going to be running away. And yeah, it's actually pretty interesting to see why is Salo just standing there. And yeah, this is the right moment to strike, Leo. You need to strike right now.
I mean, right now, INES, they sort of have maybe figured out no. And how can they make such a mistake? I mean, you've got to understand that smoke popping off in the second time. Well, that was your cue. That's where you're supposed to know there's someone in those dumpster trucks. And Leo, I mean, I can understand. The nerves definitely have melted out on this lad. For God's sake, he's a support player. And he's already done enough. He survived more than ERZxTRZ. And, well, Blood Legion again trying to go high on the spirits. Kind of failed on this occasion, but now is the time where he should not even flinch, should not even move. And he could have, of course, gotten a knock and a kill confirmed, but he's playing his chances. He's playing his odds. He wants to see how long can he survive just by proning in that dumpster.
Indeed, a massive elimination coming in through early on this time. Log1 Esports not really able to secure that higher points, survival points for themselves. But just take a look at Salo. Seems like he's going to be just showering down bullets onto the vehicles that are rotating inside the circle, but not really able to connect any kind of shots. Just take a look at the entire situation. I'm pretty sure Leo's heartbeat is rising every single second at the moment. And imagine if Salo decides to just look below the ridge that is in front of him. If he manages to look below him, he is just going to be in such a massive disadvantageous spot. But Leo still barely surviving. Leo not really roaring to his name. Just going to be staying quiet for now, because the moment for Leo to strike will be coming anytime soon, and Leo has to watch out for that moment.
Yeah, he certainly has to. And now, well, okay. I don't know what to say at this point, to be honest. I mean, INES, you need to read your kill feeds. You know that the whole squad of Blood Legion was not eliminated. You did see that second smoke popping off, even after it diminished, and you're still not checking your angles. And I think that's going to bite them in the later stage. But right now, the fourth circle is also going to kick in after 40 seconds. So this is where Leo needs to decide to make some kind of a movement. Try to get at least one kill out of this game, but no. Rather, INES, they decide to just back off, get inside the circle. And Leo is, guys, I come with, you know, the olive branch in my hands. I come with no harm. So, finally, Leo's like, I'm parched. I'm parched. After that fight, after whatever happened, I need that booster.
I'm pretty sure when they actually ran off, Leo's probably like... But now taking a look at the fight that is occurring in front of us, ALxK seems like they're going to be going down, and there goes the Dan down as well. Now, they are in a really disadvantageous spot. If you take a look, they're only 12 teams surviving with 42 men alive. ALxGR are in one of the most disadvantageous spots. Gentleman taking heavy beating in the process as well, trying to reposition himself, but certainly going to be proning in the grass and healing himself at the same time. But now just take a look at Venom. Seems like he is looking for the best time to strike and just inject that Venom into the enemy. Now taking a look at another knockdown, a big knockdown coming in through. It's going to be Yashiro, but is Deadly going to be able to throw the nade? Is that going to be connecting anytime soon? Is that nade going to be connecting? And no, that nade's not certainly going to be connected. Instead, he is going to get contested by himself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly going to happen over there. But right now, A1 Esports 952 finally going in with that push onto its squad house. They know they've got the knocks. All they need to do is commit and go in with conviction. And there you go, Magneto getting one more player out from this situation. It's all going to come down to Deadlove and his teammate, that Stranger, that are both positioned in those balcony areas. Well, a few good grenades might just flush them out. But at this point, you know, this is the low toss Molotov that I was talking about, covering so much around that balcony. And Deadlove, I believe his position has been compromised. Look at the players of A1 952. This is the kind of a push that we were looking for, and they certainly have done it in such a beautiful fashion.
Indeed, Deadlove barely surviving from that Molotov. The Molotov not really covering the area where he was hiding. But now just take a look at Yashiro's position. He is in the backlines throwing those massive nades. And those nades are certainly going to be doing so much damage to A1 1952. And certainly they are going to be looting as well in the process. They are trying their best not to get contested early on. But now just take a look at Dictator over here. Is the Rise going to be coming in through? Barely making it. Not even surviving on 1 HP. That was just like literally sliver of HP health remaining for him. Now just take a look at Stranger over there as well. He is trying to make his way onto his teammates in the process, but now if you take a look at that, also getting contested by Magneto over there, going to be taking heavy beating in the process, but his Stranger going to be going down anytime soon, and of course he is going to be going down anytime, but also going to be having that ridge for his advantage. They're going to be getting back in the cover and barely getting down as well. Now just take a look at ALxGR. Seems like they're going to be having a really hard time. Reborn not really able to show up to their name.
I mean, to be honest, A1 952, those were the shots that they could not afford to miss, but they've certainly made up, in terms of getting the players of course Reborn out from this lobby. And this is what I was talking about. Stranger was finally in covers the moment he got knocked out. So he's pretty much back on, and we must give it to these players. The way they kind of dodged this fight, they were in such a bad spot, and they have somehow mitigated of what could have been a disaster for them. And now, considering the circle heading on towards the western side of Mansion, perhaps. And we've got the players of SLX Ironic still in contention. Exentric Infinity doing really well. Blood Legion, as we have seen, they've been taken down early on in this game, and it's all right. This is what we were talking about. They could afford that. But finally, the other teams are showing up, and with the way A1 Esports 952 have started off and are playing right now, they certainly are eyeing out for that chicken.
Indeed, anyone would be eyeing out for that chicken if you're going to be surviving in those late games. But seems like Sanhok has been spotted by Jerry there. Jerry trying to pin down any of the squads that are trying to make the rotations in, but certainly not really able to hit any kind of his shots onto any enemy teams. But just take a look at these vehicles lined up for the entire squad of XCVS. It's actually really a good way of parking it. But now taking a look at the massive airdrop that is coming in, the heavy damager MK14 also going to be inside the airdrop package as well. Which team is going to be contesting that? Of course, Exentric being one of the teams which is really going to be to the closest to the airdrop, but are they going to be able to contest that airdrop though? This is going to be interesting to see. Only 9 teams left on the board, and seems like Thunder is going to be the one to prove himself and actually go for the airdrop as well. But just take a look at the fight that is happening in front of us. Demon certainly getting capitalized as well from Gajor, and he's going to be taking him down, but another XCVS squad also going down as well. Jerry going down as well in the process, and the entirety of XCVS has been completely eliminated off in the process. A big squad getting eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big blow. XCVS not really having the kind of time of their lives in this match at least, but look at the boys from A1. You were just looking at them as they get eliminated from the lobby and from the game. As INES, I mean, talk about Gashor. I've always been really, been so, having so positive thoughts about this play itself. I mean, right from the very first day, I've seen the reflexes on these lads, and I think he's finally started to step up. KSX heading in maybe for their second possible chicken, and after what could have been a very bad day, they've certainly recovered really well, and they might be just getting off with this one as well. But anything can possibly happen because this is the 5th circle that's starting to shrink in. But who gets the better of the zone? This time we do not have log 1, so we'll have to let the zone speak for itself.
Indeed, we have to let the zone speak for itself, but now taking a look at the entire situation over here, it seems like KSX are going to be in such a disadvantaged spot. Of course, they're not going to be having the utilities to cover themselves all the time in those open grounds, and they will have to certainly save the smoke grenades for the late game as well as the rotation. They will have to make it inside as the zone keeps on shrinking in as well. The zone's going to be forcing their position inside the circle. Now, taking it. Now, one unique name that we are seeing up over here is going to be Max Esports. We haven't really been seen them showing up in those late game circles as well, but this time Max certainly proving their ground and going to be getting inside. But as we take a look at beautiful nade coming in from Dictator, going to be taking down King from Max, and certainly King is getting off his throne this time and is going to get knocked down instantly by Dictator. Beautiful nade coming in from this man, and even a beautiful nade coming in from Max as well, but not really going to be able to connect onto Dictator. Only if Dictator was behind the rock taking that cover, then Dictator would have been absolutely demolished by that Kobe there. But taking at the entire look over here, seems like Dictator going to be pushing in slowly, but King is also barely surviving, and by waking up, he just gave his position away and he got knocked and contested by the other squads.
Yeah, that certainly did happen in that case, but IPG for Rock, I mean, they've been avoiding fights. They've been doing a pretty good job at prioritizing on the position points that they could get for themselves, as C1 will get yet another kill confirmed in his favor. But Exentric Infinity, this is a game in which they might make a comeback, as we see Stranger and Dictator, both brother-in-arms, one kneel down, the other proning in, and heading inside the circle as he still anticipates this revival coming out. But INES, they're off in the far fray, and well, they're doing good. They've gotten the most kills in the lobby. They've gotten the 3 players alive. It's just Newt who was taken down. So again, a chicken dinner game. It might possibly for these lads.
But certainly, Exentric is one of the big names as well. You know, here having all 4 of the men alive in those late circles is going to be so good for you, and especially you would be able to put those really great positioning points as well for your team as well. And now Exentric seems like they're just going to be smoking all across themselves, going to be smoking them all across themselves. And now this is going to be interesting to see how C1 is going to be playing in those late situations. C1 certainly trying to smoke himself out, and a big elimination coming in as well. It's going to be Max Esports going to be taking an exit. Now it's all lead down to 4 teams here. Which team is going to be coming out on top? Now IPG for ALxTRZ, the last man standing for them. Stranger taking heavy damage outside the zone. He certainly needs to step up. I feel like it's game over for Stranger here. Yep, that's exactly going to be happening, as C1 certainly going to be securing the kill for himself, and that's going to be one cherry on the top.
Yeah, a cherry on the top of the cake is what Necro always wanted to say over there. And yes, I mean, considering how exhilarating it has been in those final few circles, you know, now it's even gonna get more intense. And considering we have the players of Exentric Infinity over here, alright, Thunder has sort of spotted out Clutch any single moment. He might just go in with those taps on his DP. And we have seen that, you know, even the players of XCvS, you know, do so much with those DP28s, you know, just spraying down after this one squad after the other. Right now, Casuar, he's trying to get that flag angle going in for him. INES, of course, having the highest possible chance in those final few circles. But right now, Exentric and ALxK9, they're right beside each other. It's just about the moment when the deadlock is yet to be broken. Who is going to get that one knock? Of course, ALxK9 having the numbers, but Exentric having the momentum. What do you think?
Indeed. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, overall, ALxK9 do have that man advantage going in if you take a look at the numbers. But of course, yeah, even Exentric and INES do have those 3-man people living up for themselves. Now, beautiful nade coming in from here, but not really going to be able to do much damage. So just chipping out a little bit of damage from ALxK9. But still, ALxK9 standing strong and standing still. Going to be smoking the positions right in front of them, making sure it's just going to be providing them a little bit of cover till they actually make their way inside the circle. And it seems like the exact same thing is going to be happening over here. Now, INES is definitely one of the teams we haven't really been seeing in a long time, securing those top 3 spots for themselves. And INES certainly going to be getting in the buggy. I don't really know if this is a really good thing coming in from them, but Thunder certainly going to be giving his position away. And the rest of the INES members are going to be capitalizing onto his position. Suoser trying his best to even frag out and just even out the situation. Thunder has been knocked out behind the car as well. The smoke grenades are coming in. Suoser also trying to close out the distance between him and his teammate, trying to get the res in out of Thunder, and seems like he will be able to successfully do that as long as KS do not decide to just pop out. And now take a look at C1 going to be taking down Meheraz, and that's going to be putting KS in such a disadvantageous spot as well. Now they are down to 3 men also, which are going to be staying alive for them as well.
I mean, right now, considering how Exentric have been playing, and C1, look at the impact from just this one player. He's been there every single time. Now again, we are in that Mexican standoff that we so love to talk about. Now it's a 3v3v3. Anything can possibly happen, but Exentric, they're taking shots from absolutely everywhere. Shuvo, that's a beautiful, beautiful 3-pointer coming out from him as he takes down Clutch. But at the same time, Exentric making such movements might just lead to their demise. Yeah, of course, Clutch, there's no chance on her that he's gonna survive. But ALxK9, they are gonna capitalize on the situation, and they did.
Indeed, ALxK9 still are proving their ground as well, but now this situation is just equal all over the place. That smoke grenades are coming in through from Exentric, but are they gonna be able to do much though? Yeah, C1 is trying to cover himself out, but just take a look at what Sakil is doing, or he's trying to reposition himself. C1, he is in the open ground. If Sakil manages to spot him, see, that might be the end for C1 there. But now just take a look at the entire positioning coming in from INES as well. INES, Salu also needs to get inside the circle as the zone is going to be shrinking down slowly and slowly. Each and every single member has to get inside the circle and either get in the middle of the zone.
Yeah, that they are certainly trying to do so. But look at the players of Exentric. You know, they've somehow managed to get their players back on. And Esan just spraying down in the grasses as he finds Clutch over there. C1 also getting a knock for himself. And Shuvasil with that MK14. It's all mayhem happening throughout the map. Right now, what Team Exentric are eyeing out for is that chicken. And they've already gotten 11 kills out of it. But Salu Whitey doing a pretty decent job at surviving in the end. And right now, Ehsan, oh my goodness, this fight is going completely crazy. Saluwaiti being the last final player being picked off from INERTIA Esports, as it's Ehsan against the players of Exentric and CY and Shubo. Can they clutch it out for their team?
Indeed, it's going to be interesting to see, but now just take a look at the entire situation that they have put himself into. Exentric CY, and of course, trying to spray down all those bullets that he have in his mag, unloading the mag and just spamming all across the grass, but they are certainly closing the distance in. Just take a look at what is happening over here. Ehsan certainly has been spotted, and he's going to be taken down by CY, and beautiful clutch coming in from this man. It's going to be closing the things out for Exentric, and a chicken dinner finally for them, and Exentric just proving their grounds as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the way Exentric Infinity managed to get that chicken directly, you know, kind of cementing their spot on the second position by the end of all the games that we had for the evening today. And 14 kills. I mean, it was certainly coming, right? The way they were playing, their body language, their approach was always there. But somehow, I really felt that KSX could have done much better, provided when they got that first initial knock onto it, the players of INES, and all these players just pushed in. That was their call. That was where they should have striked. And, you know, that's what happens, you know, when you are having those three teams, the trifecta of death, as we call it. You need to capitalize on the other players' lack of awareness of his situation. But now let's take a look at the MVP, and we will, of course, carry forward our discussion. But Shu was going absolute ham with that MK14.
Of course, we did see this man just absolutely mow down with that demon of a weapon, as I like to call it. That's just a massive weapon coming in. But now, just take a look at Shuo coming in with those 5 kills and 733 damage as well in the process now. 164 healing done. I mean, yeah, not a lot of healing done coming in as well, but yeah, definitely proving his ground. This is what we also want to see.
Yeah, we certainly do want to see that right now. But, you know, talking about the other teams that we did see in contention. INES, finally, you know, after having all those disappointing performances, they certainly did end the day on a good note, and that is all they needed right now. But let's take a look at the top players, the players that were shining in the lobby, and how can we rule out C-Wine?
Yeah.
This man, he is one of those names that has popped up this time, and I think if this squad qualifies for the PMPL, he's definitely one of the players that I will be eyeing out for them.
Of course, I mean, I've been saying it's from the day one. C1 is like the best player that Exentric has to offer. And then, of course, Shuo Sir to follow it up, especially having those players in those backliners is definitely going to be helping your team so much in those late game situations as well. But INES, of course, one of the new names coming down over here. This time, we just saw INES just coming out from nowhere. Yeah, and then third party on the XP Blood Legion fight that was going on in the compound was just absolutely relentless. The way these guys were just utilizing all the nades they had was just an absolute barrage coming in from these guys.
But, you know, you still cannot forget what we did see from Blood Legion. I mean, Leo, he was just hiding. It was the boys from Team INES that just came in. I'm pretty sure the moment they go back and watch the replay and they're like, they'll be scratching their heads. Okay, guys, we could have gotten one more kill. We just could not. And that was really, really foolish of us not checking those angles. And yeah, but Blood Legion, of course, getting just that 1 point, I guess, from this game. And let's take a look at the match summary as we go on with the discussion. ERZxTRZ. It's a nightmare going on for them. It's everything falling down.
Exentric is just all over the place in this over here.
That's why, you know, I said there was so much in control over the game.
And the funny part over here is that each and every single member from Exentric is on the board right now. Yeah. First it's going to be C1, then it's going to be Riddle, then it's going to be Shuo, then it's going to be Shuo again, and then it's going to be Thunder.
Yeah, of course. And that is how good they've been, right?
Yeah.
That is how good they've been in terms of their rotation, in terms of their fights that they've taken. And that was really smart. But at one point, I really, really felt they were weak. That is when they decided to push onto its INES. And that is what I'm talking about. KSX should have capitalized on their situation. They still have 3 of the players alive. One of them looking at the boys from INES, the remainder of the 2 looking over at Exentric. And they might have, you know, caused a huge ruckus. Again, this, you know, trifecta, as we call it, you know, could have been brought down. And maybe KSX could have just clutched it out, but that was not the case. But, you know, it is what it is. But Exentric Infinity, yesterday we did see the boys from Blood Legion really go bonkers with that 23 kills bomb. But this was a 14 kills, well planned, well organized chicken dinner.
I mean, I just don't know what to say in that end situation. The things were so calm, even when the circle was shrinking down to its smallest, and then finally the fight just happened, and then it was just chaos all over the place, and Exentric just coming out on top somehow, and Exentric just managed to take that down on their notebook.
Yeah, this somehow did. And, you know, a lot of teams kind of fell off, of course. We'll take a look at the match ranking and see the ones that could not really have a good time, not a good outing. But A1 1952, this is one of the teams that I really want to point out. You know, they were going in heavy. IPG 4 they had a good chance at pushing them on, but they kind of were scared to commit, really. They were under a lot of pressure. But Exentric Infinity and INERTIA Esports, of course, coming out on top. And this one, of course, KSX, again, a very consistent display.
Indeed, KSX are trying their best to actually get on top of there, and of course not all the time it's going to be possible for them to actually get on top these top 3 situations, but especially Exentric this time. I'm just so surprised by the performance that they have been showing over here. Like, it's just so good. And then INERTIA Esports, I didn't really expect for them to actually step out like this time and in securing that second spot for themselves.
I mean, it was sort of really necessary. It was sort of coming, considering how Gajor really started off, you know. The way he was just, pressing down on the players over there, and the way he was just dishing out the damage, I felt it, that maybe INERTIA might have gotten it. Again, it was the last man Salu from their team surviving till the end, and he did majority of the job over there. Yesterday, if you remember, in the map of Sanhok, I mean, he stayed alive for so long, and he's been the survivor for his team. He's been the smart player out here. But as we move on to the next page, the bottom half of the table, we of course have ALxK9 ESPORTS not really having the kind of a start, and this is kind of a switcheroo that we are witnessing.
Indeed, a massive switcheroo. I mean, we had so many expectations going in from ALxK9 as well, but the unfortunate turn of events coming in, and we were like seeing, okay, wherever ALxK9 actually rotates, the circle is going to be there, and it seems like the rotation just never came in through.
I think I might have cursed it. I'm sorry, ALxK9.
You jinxed it.
Yeah, I jinxed it. I'm sorry. But my apologies over there. I never meant to do that. I mean, they were my cheat code, right? They were my cheat code. Every single time I had to predict my circle, I'll be like, A1? Oh, sorry, I mean, ALxK9. Where are you going? So that would have been the case. But now let's just head on to the Oppo moments of the day that we have. In fact, the final game after Erangel.
The unfortunate moment coming in over here, getting caught off guard over here. The early fights, I would like to say, but not really able to do anything. And of course, A1 1952, one of the teams that actually managed to take those 2 members down. And in this fight, of course, ALxK9, and this is the most iconic moment that we're talking about. Leo step in, just using 9,000 IQ of his brain and just hiding inside that small dumpster, and not really no one was really able to capitalize. And just take a look at how many nades were thrown inside the building there from INES, because they were really scared to actually approach the fight themselves. And they do. I mean, yeah, of course, it does make sense why you're going to be scared to actually approach the fight inside the house, because you never know where each and every single person's hiding. Especially a house like that has so many different rooms and so many different angles. If you're going to move it in, you might just see like everyone just standing there. So they absolutely just flushed everyone out with those massive nades coming in.
You know, to be honest, right now, if you take a look at how they performed, right, over there, the players of ERZxTRZ and Blood Legion, there was a chance, you know, that Leo could have actually committed for the push. It was chaos all over, and he knew that his teammates were already dead. And but ERZxTRZ were in a completely different spot, you know. SDFU did feel that he had the pressure to get his teammates back online. So the momentum shift was, of course, in the favor of Leo, and questions might be raised as to why he did not push. But it was INES coming at the end of the day and just going ham over there, and Leo, of course, surviving, but not for long. But now let's take a look at the damage graph for you guys, and let's see, you know, how things turned out in terms of damage. And
of course, yeah,
Exentric, everywhere.
They're just everywhere, yeah, of course, and they were just dominating the entire match, of course. And I mean, unfortunate for KSX though, like they were in the top situations, but certainly one of the things KSX is trying to do here, not really working out for them, is like they're playing too passive and they're not really challenging fights in between. Yeah, of course, ALxK9 does the same thing as well, but they're just on a whole another level when it comes to guessing the zone.
I think we did see a slight improvement from Log 1 today. You know, there was, that intention to go in for those kills. They were trying to commit for that. They failed on some occasions, but it's okay. They still have those position points to back them up. But now, let's see where this final game of Erangel has turned, how it has turned things over in the overall standings, that we have the overall storyboard coming in for you guys. So Blood Legion, of course, having that 127 points, that massive lead. And coming up second is Exentric Infinity, who's going to end the day on a very good note.
Indeed, it's literally group stages again. Now, one team I really want to see in the top 3 again over here is going to be ERZxTRZ. Then the leaderboards will literally just repeat its history.
Yeah. I mean, right now, ERZxTRZ, they're a mess. Now, we've gotten done with 8 games. We have just a handful remaining. 12 to be the precise number. And tomorrow is either the day where they pick themselves up or they just go down. Because tomorrow, I think we'll be seeing even a better segregation in terms of position points of the teams. And INERTIA Esports are much needed respite, I must say, considering how they've been playing. Now, they did not pop off in any single game other than the last game of Erangel. I mean, that's the part where they knew that they had to do anything and everything possible. But as we take a look down under, I mean, so many disappointments out here.
Again, Infernal Parasite, one of the big names that we saw in the group stages, this time not really able to show up as well. ERZxTRZ is literally on the 15th position. And getting on top of those low-end positions is definitely going to be panning your team so much, because in the upcoming days, as soon as the matches are reducing in numbers, you will have to try your best and just, overall do the best as you can. And now taking a look at Wolves also. I don't know what to say. I mean, I had so many expectations coming in from Wolves, because just the way they clutched out their position in the end was actually just impressed my mind. And now the performance they are showing up here for me is just actually mind-boggling for me and even their fans.
Even today was not certainly a good day for the boys from SLX Ironic, to be honest. And they started off pretty well, but they just kind of fizzled out towards the end. But now let's take a look at the kill leaders and see which are those dominating players that we have in front of our screens, and that is Ryan. We did see Gyro going completely berserk yesterday, but today it was Ryan who was the calm and composed lad.
Indeed, I mean, Ryan was there to actually step up for his team if his fraggers are not really working out. And Ryan, definitely one of the men that is filling up the spot of the fraggers, and even those entry fraggers for his team. He was just doing so much damage and dishing out those damage from even the back line sometimes, and even in the front lines. He was doing work from all across the place. But how can we forget about Leo from Blood Legions? That man is just, I mean, overall, I feel like that man is just really consistent in showing his performance as well. But Sabik, again, coming up in the kill leaders as well. We did see his name. And C-Wine, of course, the big man coming in here. And it's certainly proving that he is the owner of the sea.
Yeah, he certainly is the owner. The kind of gameplay that we've seen from him. The moment he was not there with his team, and I believe the map of Sanhok, that's where it all came falling down for these lads of Exentric. But overall, they've somehow managed to kind of recollect, regroup, and it's a very promising position where they have ended the day at. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the close of our show, and we've gotten done with all our games. We'll be beating you tomorrow at the same time, so you don't forget to tune in tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.